moderator Caroline. Hello, Caroline. How are you? She's coming.
Hi, neighbor.
Hi, Caroline. I don't know if your listeners know or your supporters know that you actually gave me your account. That's your TikTok page. So I'm actually using your TikTok page. So ever since you've opened your camera, your messages have been flooded with admirers, wanting your number, wanting to take you out, and I just had to tell you this evening to tell them that I'm using your account, so they shouldn't send it to your TikTok account.
But neighbor, how would I know who to tell?
I don't know. Just make an announcement. Just make an announcement on here and tell them, don't send anything to my TikTok account because your neighbor is going to get it. No, I'm not reading the messages. I just opened one or two today. And I realized that these are Caroline's messages. So these guys are crazy, Caroline. They're crazy. By the way, maybe you should say something.
Call them crazy, neighbor?
Because I don't know that men should not naturally check out women like that. I mean, if I see a woman online and I like her, I'm not going to go after her on her TikTok page just like that. I'm not going to send her a message, eliciting a type of response. I'm not going to do that. No. So I think that.
What would you do?
I'd find a way to start a conversation with her before I indicate that I really am interested in her. Because what if she's not interested in me? Then I'm going to be left embarrassed. Yeah.
Well, did you look at some of the pictures?
And they're old. Some of them are old men. they even want to send themselves nude. You're getting requests if you want. Anyway, I can't even say some of those things on here. Great evening to you. How are you doing today? How was your day?
Doing great, neighbor. Had a lovely day. I spent a few hours spending time with the new moderators.
Okay, yeah. Well, you need to let me speak to them one of these evenings. They should come up on the program and let me have a word with them. Which one you want to start with tonight? Blueberry?
Well, I don't know yet, neighbor. They're working on it.
They're working on it. Okay. Well,
of course. You're looking great today, neighbor. You look well rested and like you're ready to go and do an all-nighter.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, this morning that I was up at 4:00 and I was supposed to have been here at 8, but I couldn't make it because I was just too tired. And I did get some sleep today, got a shower, put on my nice cologne, so I'm smelling nice. You would like to take me out later?
Definitely.
I'm available at 10:15. Send the Pro Box for me, all right? You don't drive Pro Box, do you?
Yes, neighbor.
Pro Box?
Yes, I take taxis.
Oh my goodness. You know that the Pro Box, you can't sit in the back seat.
Why not?
Oh my goodness. Let Kimmy tell you why the Pro Box back seat is a terrible place to sit. I don't know how that those cars were actually designed for farmers. Right.
No.
Yeah, they actually designed them for for farmers in South Africa. I don't know how they came to Jamaica running taxis, but nonetheless.
But when I go to Jamaica and I don't want to drive, I just take a regular taxi and I sit in the back and it's fine.
Oh well, never fine for me. I never fine for me at all. They're very low. They're very low.
They're just very stush, neighbor.
No, not stush. No, not stush at all. No, not at all. As a matter of fact, from time to time, I do take the bus and the taxi because I want to keep connected to my people. I'm not
culture.
Absolutely, and go to Juicy and sit down and have a patty and a juice and things like that. I like those things, and I like when I go
walk on the road and eat a patty and drink, and while you're walking on the street.
No, I don't practice that. And wherever I see young people doing that, I tell them no. My mother didn't encourage that. She said don't eat on the streets.
But I walk on the street and eat a patty and have a drink. And I feel great.
So what if you're driving down the road and you want to pee?
I pull over.
Really?
Yes, neighbor. You can just pull over, neighbor.
Okay. Wow.
You can do that here in America, you'd get arrested.
Okay, but in Jamaica you can pull over. You know, people pull over and do other things. Don't comment.
Pull over and do anything in Jamaica.
Don't comment on that.
That's where you call the land of the free.
Yeah, and the home of the brave. Well, I tell you that when I was a younger man, I could give you stories of those night stops.
Those pullovers.
Those pullovers, yes, night stops, and I'm too old now. I'm too old now, and you know, it is what it is. But wow, those can be exciting stuff.
I see.
Yeah. You wouldn't know about that. You're a nice lady. But great to have you. And it's a Friday. The NaRRA debate continues. By the way, Caroline, we should have Senator Marlon Morgan with us tomorrow.
Yes, neighbor, at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. So we
Jamaican time.
Yeah, we should have the senator with us tomorrow. So you want to tune in tomorrow? We start at 5 o'clock, and by 6 o'clock we'll have Senator Marlon Morgan right here on the Hello Neighbor Show. We expecting to have a great conversation with him, and of course it should be blockbuster stuff, because you know,
definitely, but he will be able to give us all the clarity
yes
that we need, you
yes,
know,
yes.
and to set a lot of people's mind at ease.
Yes.
And you know, yeah, it should be a great evening. So we're encourage everyone to join us tomorrow at 6 p.m. Jamaican time, but we will be live from 5 o'clock.
Yeah, you know, Caroline, I was thinking today that Mark Golding's leadership since Hurricane Melissa has been nothing but abysmal. You know, it's been very, very poor, and I'm kind of wondering whether or not why this divide in Jamaica on our reconstruction is largely led by him. You know, Golding is proving to be nothing but a failure.
Well, neighbor, it didn't take the hurricane to prove that. He lost the election. People had no faith in him. He was rejected, neighbor. So I don't know. He tend to utter a lot of nonsense, but we all know he's just trying to seek some relevance. And neighbor, we've moved beyond him. He's like so over.
Okay, well, welcome to all the listeners, and on YouTubers, how you doing? Great to have you. All right, Caroline.
Of course. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. Please tap the screen, share the live, repost the live, and keep the comment section very, very active. Send your gifts, support the live goals, and please donate to support our platform as well through Zelle and Cash App.
Okay.
All right, neighbor. Have a great show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, listeners, please note that we have made a little change to the format here. The Hello Neighbor notes are on YouTube, so you need to subscribe and become a member over YouTube to get the notes. We're not doing the extensive monologues here anymore on TikTok. Those are on YouTube as a separate entity. All right, so what we are doing on this space is talking to you, having conversations in what we call Talk Your Mind. Talk Your Mind. I'm hoping to be joined by Mr. Delroy Dobney in a few minutes. There are some matters over in Mr. Dobney's constituency that is of concern, and I see Mr. Dobney in the chat there. I hope to start out with him in a few minutes or so. Mr. Delroy Dobney. But before I get to Mr. Dobney, Mr. Morgan of the Jamaica Labour Party put out this statement here. I think it is important we play this.
During her contribution to this year's budget.
All right, listen.
The public should note that Finance Minister Favour Williams had itemized the 67 billion Jamaican dollars being spent on Hurricane Melissa recovery and relief efforts during her contribution to this year's budget debate. The referenced expenditure includes approximately $10 billion to assist Jamaicans to repair their roofs. It also includes $5 billion provided via the National Work Agency to conduct cleanup and other post-disaster relief activities, and approximately $1 billion was expended on the provision of care packages. It is also important to note that 3.2 billion Jamaican dollars has been expended to assist with the restoration of water supply, as well as an additional $3 billion has been expended to restore our agricultural sector. This allocation includes provisions of critical support to our farmers. Additionally, the government has spent the United States equivalent of 24 billion Jamaican dollars, which represented a loan to the Jamaica Public Service Company, the JPSCO. This allocation fast-tracked the restoration of electricity to the vast majority of Jamaicans 5 to 6 months ahead of what was indicated by the JPSCO. As it relates to the approximately 1.44 billion Jamaican dollars that have been received in donor funds for Hurricane Melissa related support, 600 million of that amount is being used to build bases for the modular housing solutions for people whose dwellings have been destroyed. Additionally, $240 million is being used to support the government of the public should note
we can get back to that. We have Mr. Dabney online. Good evening to you, Mr. Dabney.
Neighbor, how are you doing?
Hi, sir. You okay?
Well, I couldn't be better. My mind is at the right place. I feel that I'm very healthy, and indeed, just have a positive mindset. So, and I'm on Hello Neighbor program.
Well, fantastic. So, Mr. Dabney, I was surprised this afternoon when word came that there was a protest in your constituency, sir. You want to tell us what is happening? Why are they protesting against Mr. Jackson?
Neighbor, let us understand this, that I am a part of our...
Sorry, so you organize a protest against Mr. Jackson, sir?
Neighbor, what are you getting at?
No. The fact is that how could there be a protest against? It couldn't be against you.
Well, there are in life there are people who have their own thought process and do believe that those thought process is best dispelled through the whole act of implosion. In other words, a house divided against itself.
Hold on here, Mr. Dabney. You are saying that your constituency is imploding?
No, definitely not, neighbor. And let me get to the positives of it. The fact is, there is over 6,300 persons who voted for me in the last election, and that's a very noble number in a constituency represented by the People's National Party.
Yes.
And as such, I will not even want to spend a lot of time on that situation, because to me, that's a non-issue. The issue that I want to focus on is that the constituency is one that is what you call in a rebuilding stage. We have understood quite a number of things as it relates to the operations of the PNP leadership in Portmore, and it is not going to take one effort to remove a mayor, a member of parliament, and 4 councillors in that constituency. And so we have to get used to the fact that as you evolve in a space occupied by the People's National Party, then you're going to have what you call resilience. You have to accept defeat. You have to build on your defeat. You have to have an understanding of what your failures are. And those are the things that if we do the analysis in a very objective way, then you can only get better. And that is where I think we are as it relates to the leadership. There are a few people who tell themselves that they are part of the leadership, but the truth be told, There's a thing that my mother used to teach, my grandmother used to teach me, that it says, pity their simplicity, suffer me. It's a prayer that my grandmother used to teach me. Pity their simplicity, Lord, suffer me to come to thee. The fact is, we are a part of a government that is doing extraordinarily well for this country. Whether we are caretakers or MPs, we represent a party, and we have to seek to become an ambassador of the transformation that is taking place nationally, notwithstanding the fact that we are part of the caretaker caucus. We have to represent ourselves well, and that is exactly why I'm not going to give much credence or much precedence to what those few persons did this morning. It is really just a misstep and a misunderstanding of how to treat with matter of your own discontent.
Yeah, okay. So Mr. Dobney, I know you say you don't really want to get too much into that, but give us a little understanding as what are their concerns? Because if they have concerns to the point where they took it to the streets, then it appears as if it's something that you need to address.
No, follow me, neighbor. In every situation, you have to allow people, leadership allows people to express themselves, And every point made is assessed on its merit or demerit. It's not every argument that has merits, and it's not every argument that has demerits. And so you have to look objectively at those situations while bearing in mind the greater good of a space that have over 6,000 expressed JLP voters in the last election. That's what we have to care. That's what we have to be mindful of. And we have to continue to build on that. And every single one of those labor rights in that constituency have a duty to objectively represent the cause of a Jamaica Labour Party that indeed is the best government that this country has ever seen. I am speaking, neighbor, on this program because this is our program. This is our talking point. This is not a Labour Party position. This is my own position as it relates to the fact that we must dare to become excellent ambassadors for our party. And it's not everything that will be done in a way that you will like, but at the end of the day, you have to use the effective channels that are available to you in order to get an answer to your questions or your concerns. And always note, if you ask a question, nobody will answer the question to appease you because of who you are. Objective people will answer you in an honest and forthright way to suggest to you that this is how I see this thing. Because sometimes people are complaining, they want you to yield to their own position. But it is always, in other words, you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you that you're going to get something that is, you're going to get, in other words, if it's a toothache, you're going to get a stick. It's going to feel a particular way, but it is on your way to getting relief from that toothache.
Yeah, I don't think it would hurt. I don't think it would hurt, Mr. Dobney, to help the public to understand what are the concerns of the protesters.
What I think, you see, the fact is, if you are a caretaker, if you're a caretaker, there's really no resources that is available to you in order to give value to those people who consider themselves as labor right in a constituency managed by the People's National Party. That is the reality. I will declare that this was the only Easter that I did not distribute funds to the constituents, to the same people that are there. This is the only Christmas that I did not distribute things to them. And I'm doing that as a caretaker. So there comes a point in time when you're coming out of an election, September 3rd, there's going to be what you call serious downtime.
Yes.
Because serious downtime. And the only thing that can, in other words, if you're in downtime, don't expect that you're going to get a bun, you're going to get Mother's Day wishes, you're going to get all of these pleasantries. There has to be some downtime. But I'm going to say the scenario does exist that if you lose an election and you continue to give the same level of value as if you are the MP, then what energy or what desire would there be for you to seek to have a win? The people, our people in Southern St. Catherine need to understand that we have to double up on our efforts, whether me or somebody else, to ensure that we wrestle the constituency from the People's National Party, put it into the hands of the Jamaica Labour Party and the leadership of the Jamaica Labour Party, manifesting itself in Southern St. Catherine, will redound to the greater good of the
So I'm left to interpret what you are saying, Mr. Dobney. You're saying to me that there is unease in the constituency because you are not able to. There are certain benefits that would flow to them that is not flowing because the resources are just not there to do it.
Absolutely. There is the resources to give value. Let me tell you something, as a neighbor. There's a lot of information out there, as it relates to job availability of jobs through HEART. There is the whole issue of social pensions. There is the whole issue of social support that people can get once these information reaches the right place. It is not lack of availability of support, a support system through the government that we are a part of. But there are points in time when persons do not necessarily take advantage of what is there. And I do believe that if we can just understand that the government has announced much social support programs. We have registered quite a number of persons, and I've heard persons call to say, yes, we have received that which they have signed up for. There are quite a number of persons who have called to say that they have received it. But neighbor, it's really a difficult situation at points in time when it comes to social support, empowerment, people empowerment. HEART is giving people the opportunity to educate themselves free of cost up to level 4. There is so much that can happen if persons really take advantage of what is available. The time of handouts is no longer part of our landscape. We have to support each other, yes, but we have to also take advantage of what is available to us in order to empower ourselves. This government is creating an opportunity for personal development, for infrastructure that is going to give value support to our people. This is what is happening around us where this administration is concerned. And I do believe that, yes, there might be impatience, but the fact is we have to understand that the government is taking its time to create an environment that is going to give value to every single Jamaican in one way or another. And we have to just accept and understand that.
Yeah.
I too.
Yes. Yeah, Mr. Dobney, there has to be something, though, because if someone in your constituency is able to lead a protest, no matter how small, there is a sense in which your leadership is being undermined. Is there someone undermining your leadership that wants to be caretaker, that may be pushing this?
Neighbor, I could say ditto and endorse what you're saying, but let me tell you something. We serve a noble party. And regardless of the undermining of sorts, as you would want to call it, this person called Delroy Dobney is not averse to leadership change. Is not averse to the whole issue of transition, youthful inclusion in the leadership structure of Southern St. Catherine as we plan for the future. It is not beyond me. In fact, I will say, neighbor, that as long as I have breath and as long as I can give my support to Southern St. Catherine, I will not rest in that quest to ensure that that constituency returns to the columns of the Jamaica Labour Party or is returned to the column of the Jamaica Labour Party, whoever is leading. Because I do know, and I have a fair amount of knowledge of the space. I have done a fair amount of back office work, and we are in the process of doing much more, which I will not say. We have about 2 years to give value to that, and I'm sure the party will also take a look at the constituency for what it's worth and decide whether or not it becomes one of those seats that must be won or should be won in order for government or the fourth term to become part of our objectives. And yes, we have to understand that when you have a party that has to manage its resources, I must declare that Southern St. Catherine may not have been one of those constituencies which was placed in the winning column in order for us to be returned as government. And we have to understand that, neighbor. You cannot spend on 63 constituencies in the way that I may expect or the constituents may expect. The party has to prioritize and ensure that it forms the government in the best interest of all Jamaica.
You got over 6,000 votes in the last election, Mr. Dobney. Surely there are persons in the constituency that respects you and would want you to be their member of parliament. Quite frankly, I am of the view, personally, having been in discussions with you for the last year or so, that with a little bit more push and a little bit more help, you could have done much better. Even if not winning, I think you could do better. But here you have 4 years ahead of you, Mr. Dobney. You don't think that if you start the political work and get the type of support necessary, that you could be a formidable candidate come 2030?
Well, neighbor, that is a very plausible statement. And yes, the answer to that is yes. But let us understand this. It takes a team. And one of the things that must happen going forward is that we must ensure that treating the constituency as a good chair, it have 4 feet, it have 4 divisions. We have to look at how we are going to give value to the strengthening of those divisions to the point where each division representing 25% of the whole becomes effective, becomes strong, and become formidable in doing a particular work as a franchise of a constituency. Once you can get that strength, once you can get that energy, that passion on the ground, because I can tell you, neighbor, I can have a lot of passion, and let me tell you something, I do have a passion for what I do.
Yes.
But the fact is, if you do not have that support system based on, 1, the leadership divisionally, and by extension extendedly to PDs, neighbor, in the last election we have about 10 PDs, persons just take the files and did not turn up.
Yeah.
The fact is,
quite frankly, Mr. Dobney. Okay, go ahead, sir.
If you do not have the passion, and yes, people will say that, and many can say that Andrew Holness represents a great pull for every single one of the MPs across the length and breadth of this country. Andrew Holness is a significant pull for all of us. But let us understand this, that the fact of the matter, when you have an organization functioning in every corner, at every PD level, the theory is sound, but the practicality of the work on the ground sometimes is found wanting. And let us understand, neighbor, it's a work in progress. So you can't blame anybody, because Southern St. Catherine has not been used to winning. There has been formidable candidates who came to that constituency in the past, very formidable candidates. But they fared the same. And what did they do? They leave. Let me tell you something, neighbor. I'm going to make like a stamp to a letter in that constituency.
Oh, you're not leave.
We're staying with them.
Okay.
And I'm going to give value support.
Yeah.
To
Well,
them.
that's coming.
And whosoever comes at all levels, I'm going to be there giving them the support because I'm not going anywhere.
That's commendable.
Everybody came and they left.
Uh-huh.
I am staying the course because they said, "Listen to me."
So you are saying to your detractors this evening, loud and clear, that you're a stamp to a letter. You ain't going anywhere.
I ain't going nowhere.
Well, that's fantastic.
How you mean? I'm not a neighbor.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Loyalty to a people does not always represent itself in you leading or driving the process. You can be a significant player in the process of transformation and change in Southern St. Catherine, and that's where I am.
Well, if anyone who doubts your political bona fide and capacity, Mr. Dabney, I don't, and I think that you would make a fine representative. But let me ask you this, Mr. Dabney. Do you feel that you have the backing of the central executive, the secretariat of the party, to continue in that seat?
Neighbor, I will say that I support and I'm a part of a party that have a formidable internal structure that do its own assessment and make decisions. We are here as creatures of the standard operating procedures within our party, and we are not averse to change. We are not averse to an assessment and a decision that is going to be in the best interest of the party. Delroy Dabney, is part and parcel of any transformation, any change. I will continue to give support to my party. And that is one of the things that, people must understand, that all of us are aging, neighbor.
Yes.
And guess what? No matter what position you're in, you're going to have to transition. If you're a father, a parent, you're going to have to transition.
Yeah, at some point.
You're going to have to transition to great-grandfather. And you're going to have to transition to a memory within that family at some point in time. So all of those who think that this is life in continuum, it is a part of our life's journey to serve. And if it does not work out in terms of giving the value that you anticipate to give, then all you have to do is continue to do what you have to do.
I put it to you though, Mr. Dabney, that the
we're not going to play in the hands of the PNP.
Yeah, the workers and supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party in that constituency would at some point get a little discouraged and feel that having suffered loss after loss, that the machinery needs to be overhauled, and that the head of the machinery may need to be looked at too. Is that not a fair position?
No, neighbor, listen to me. We must understand two things. We are not indispensable,
Yes.
NaRRA is not indispensable, What becomes a problem in you thinking that you are indispensable is that you become resistant to change. I accept change. There's no love lost with those persons who have developed some level of anxiety in going out this morning and to say that this is their position. What is factual is that they have made clear their position, whether coerced or whether it is because sometimes people join a demonstration, when you ask them, what is the real reason why you're demonstrating?
They don't know. But Mr. Dabney, this seemed organized too, because there were placards, and there were some placards with certain captions, which we will not say. So it seemed like somebody has organized something.
Neighbor,
yes.
There is also a point, which I may very well be able to contest those things that they're talking about.
Yeah, well, that's what I won't repeat then. Yeah.
There's a thing says that, sometimes when you see nothing and hear nothing, you say nothing. My position is, I'm talking to neighbor, which you neighbor, our viewership, that it is a situation that all of us are part of this political process. Some come, some go. Some give value, some don't. And what is factual? I will definitely, and look here, there is also, let me tell you something is here. There is also a notion of ungratefulness within this process in the neighborhood.
I know, ma'am. I know, sir. Quite true.
Deep ungratefulness.
Yes, sir.
They don't care one heck.
Yes.
Whether you spend your last dollar.
That's true.
In order to give value support to them. And at the end of the day, the same persons that get the most from you will cut your throat.
Oh Lord. Oh God.
Neighbor, it's sometimes like a blood sport, neighbor.
Oh my God. Hold on.
No, that's
a blood sport.
Look here, neighbor. It is the fittest of the fittest that will last.
Oh my God.
And that's the sad reality. We have to understand that at the end of the day, we must develop a passion to embrace an administration with our efforts, our love for each other, and by extension, patience and resilience, if we are going to succeed in the long run. I am not the type of person to hold on to anything beyond a particular time frame. But I also want those people who believe that they can make the change to just come forward, apply, do what they have to do, and let us work together in giving value to our process. That's what must happen.
I see Eastern St. Andrew on the line. Good evening.
Before I go to Eastern St. Andrew.
Yes, Member Harry, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Dudley. I've listened to you spoken before and everything, and many would say it's sweet words. You talk a very good talk, right? And I've heard you spoken of value. I've been quoting, you've gone over 10 times mentioning the word value. Being in the caretaker position now, what's the intent or the action behind that to add value to the people? How do you intend on going about that?
Giving value to the people?
Yeah.
All right, that's a very good question. One of the things which we have started to do, and the caretakers will be
repost the live, please.
Yes. In giving value as a caretaker, there is the whole issue of advocacy for road development in certain areas of the constituency, which have been neglected by the current leadership. Because I do believe that I must continue to push the notion that once you become the member of parliament, you are the member of parliament for all of the constituents of Southern St. Catherine. Whether it is a Labour Party stronghold or a PNP stronghold, you're going to give support to those people. And one of the things which I would have loved to do is to advocate for, but we operate within a system that if for any reason you become an advocate and you get that support, it is going to create a problem. I can't truly advocate and be supported in giving value to anyone as it relates to infrastructure, ring fence removal, unless I'm going to find private partnerships in order to get those things done. It's just not going to happen.
What was that? What does that advocation look like? Give us in like maybe a paragraph. What does your advocation for the people looks like? I want to get a picture for our listeners.
Right. Ari, let me say this. If I should say everything that I need to say, I may very well be in a little bit of problem. My position is that
I'm sorry to interrupt. Please allow me to interrupt. Neighbor, turn up the volume on YouTube, please. Listeners, could you please repost the live?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, advocacy has to do with ensuring that you look at the basic needs that the people have. Now, even if you're going to advocate, it has to come bearing the name of the councillor. Even if you want to recommend somebody for street sweeping, you have to go through the council of the municipality, which is controlled by the other side. There's not much that you can do. If there is road work and you try to advocate in order to get a support for some of your people, that's just not going to happen. because there is what you call a clandestine approach to who manages what needs to be this, in other words, given to the people, and it is managed by a particular group of persons. So let me tell you something, Harry. Even if you become an advocate, you have to be far, far behind the scenes. You know, one day I tried to clean up a place along Nagohead, going to Coxon Pen there, down from Nagohead to Pines. And the moment I started to clean up that place, you know, it was pandemonium, you know. It was not accepted. And so you have to be behind the scene, consistently behind the scenes. And the fact is, it's a difficult task for all caretakers to give value support in this political climate that we exist within. What we can do, though, is that we have to consistently organize, and indeed try to put systems in place that will counter what we know as the loopholes that exist in order for the other side to run with it 24/7 and every elections today. Because the one thing they didn't plan for me this time, I brought them down to 600 the last election in 2020, and they did plan for me this time. And let me tell you something, it takes a lot of money to run an election. And the truth be told, sometimes we have to look at whether or not we have the resources to give value support to the process that is not so much based on people's desire, but based on a controlled action in order to get the numbers that they desire at points in time.
You're making a point, Mr. Dobney, that requires examination at another level. Because what you're saying is that the winner takes it all. And if you're a member of parliament, all the resources of the state goes to the member of parliament. So the councillors. So the caretaker have nothing, receives not even a dollar from central government to do anything in the constituency. And therefore, if you don't, if you are not a man with wealth, you're gonna get shafted along the path there. Let's go to Eastern St. Thomas, St. Andrew. Do you have a comment, sir? Hello. Hello.
No, not at the moment. I'm still listening to the conversation between NaRRA and Dobney, because I'd really like to know how they go about, the caretakers in each constituency go about performing their duties and how best they do it. Because
neighbor, I will say this, and I wanted to say this quickly based on a thought that came to me. There's a strong message that populates itself in our constituency as it relates to how much money I get from the government, to sustain myself, and how much money I get to run the constituency. Now, if there is a dollar of support for a caretaker, that will be going against the rule of operation, the standard operating procedure. There's nothing that comes to us. Absolutely nothing. So let us understand this, that the PNP populate the message, especially in JLP areas, that is a JLP in charge. And the caretaker gets the money and not fixing the road. Your PNP people say that to us. They say it boldly because it is a message that is populated. Neighbor, as a caretaker, first past the post, winner takes all.
Yes.
The winning councillors, whichever side they are on, the winning caretakers, the winning MPs, whichever side they are on, 63 of them making up the legislature of this country, control the resources constituency by constituency. The only way that the people that supports the Labour Party will get support if you have a member of parliament, you understand his role and function in serving all his constituency, regardless of which side you're on. And yes, we have a lot of those that I can boast about in the Jamaica Labour Party. The fact is, the Labour Party supporters in some constituencies, as Southern St. Catherine being a significant one of them, has been consistently shafted. They get nothing. Walk, neighbor, I want to invite you to areas in Brayton. I want to invite you in areas in Nago Head. I want to invite you to a community that is still called Jankro Town under the PNP.
Oh, Jankro Town.
I want to invite you to, yeah, man.
Jankro.
Still called Jankro Town.
Why they call it Jankro? Hold on.
Look here, no, man. Look here, no, man.
Why they call it Jankro Town, sir?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
The fact of the
Oh, my
matter
God.
is, we are really debating the gap analysis. The
Yes.
gap that exists between the ability of a caretaker to give value to those who voted for him.
You are correct.
The only good thing that we can promote, neighbor, is the fact that the Jamaica Labour Party is a party that provides broad-based support for the people of this country.
Yes, and especially Mr. Dobney, when you have members of parliament and councillor that practice political tribalism, the other side suffer.
Exactly.
Suffer.
And that is the problem, neighbor.
Yes, because some of these members of parliament don't represent the other side, sir. They don't.
Absolutely. And that is one of the problem, neighbor, because some of them know how to purchase their way to victory. And then once they purchase their way, those who would have looked to them cannot look to them anymore because they would have paid their way to victory. We have to reach a point where plausible representation, depending on the party you're aligned to and the party that is giving value support to this country, that the people need to be able to look in that direction. It's not about color now, neighbor. It's about the absoluteness of effective representation. People can talk all they want as it relates to my ability or inability. Yes, I speak. And the only way I speak, neighbor, I speak based on knowledge.
Yeah, hold on there, Mr. Dobney. Moderator, I see someone who said that they're part of the executive from that constituency. Want to talk to Mr. Dobney. I don't think that it would hurt. Who is that person? Monique Brown?
No.
No? You don't want to talk to them, Mr. Dobney?
Well, let me tell you something. If they were part of the, look here, I'm going to say this to your neighbor. If we are going to transform this into a to and fro.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. You're a respectful.
Reasonable prayer dialogue.
Yes, reasonable and fair. Yeah, reasonable and fair. Absolutely. No disrespect. Caller, you hear that? Who is the person? Who is the person? Who is the person? Please, a respectful question.
Father Miles, I'm seeing here, neighbor.
I
think it's Father Miles, the person.
Okay, all right. Let's have him. Speak to me, Father Miles. Do not speak directly to Mr. Dobney, because we don't want any disrespect of the caretaker. Good evening to you, sir. Hello. Okay, he is Good evening to you. Hello.
Are you hearing me?
I am hearing you. Were you part of the protest, sir?
Yes, actually, I was the one doing the interview.
What interview?
Well, you will see shortly.
Oh, no. So you have a question for the member, the caretaker, sir?
I don't have a question, but just a bit of clarity. And I want to make it very clear that when you speak of Southern St. Catherine, it is a large population of persons or a demographic of persons who are working class. Now, when Mr. Darwin makes a comment about not being able to bring bun and cheese for whatever reason.
No, but you're taking that a little bit out of context. You're taking that a little bit.
Neighbor.
No, hold on. No, hold on. You take.
Nobody to contest me when I say what I say, neighbor. If you have a because I know what I'm talking about.
I wasn't addressing you, I was addressing.
No, hold on. Don't go down to the bun and cheese. Let me ask you a question. Mr. Dobney is a caretaker for the constituency. Caretaker. He has virtually no state resources. why would you, if you have a concern with him, why not take it up with the party secretariat? Why go on the street?
All right. So first of all, we did take it up with the party secretary.
Have you heard from them?
Recently, yes, we have.
And they
I want to know what the conversation
wait,
is.
no, oh, hold on, sir. You have a disagreement in the constituency, and you wrote to the party secretariat.
Yes, sir.
And you heard back from them.
Yes, sir.
Were there steps, actionable steps that were included in your response?
Most definitely.
And were those steps allowed to be taken, to be carried out?
Most definitely.
Huh?
Most definitely.
Did those steps include a protest?
And as I said to you before, party office and the executive are well aware.
Did the steps
the steps that were mentioned to them, they were well aware, and they did not stop us.
You informed the secretary that you were going to protest?
Most definitely. Half of the party knew that what we were going to do.
What do you mean half the party?
Really? In other words, the secretariat, the executive, the area council, everyone who needed to know knew the steps that was going to be taken.
But hold on. So you are saying to me that it authorized?
Neighbor, I am saying to you that party office is well aware of the steps.
Did they sign off on it and told you to go ahead?
And they did not stop us. They had the opportunity to do so, and we went ahead, and no one stopped us.
Oh, now, what is the grouse you have, sir?
Okay, neighbor. So I hear you mentioning that he's a caretaker, and as such, state funds wouldn't be available to him. But I want you to know that the caretaker has other responsibilities as well, rather than state funds. Now, just for a small small idea, and which Mr. Dabney knows quite well, is when you have workers and they have death in their family, when you have a graduation.
Oh God! Oh no, sir.
Neighbor, you gave Mr. Dabney an opportunity uninterrupted. You need to give me a chance uninterrupted.
No. Yes.
Because you know what the problem is? He will come here on your platform.
Journey of patronage, neighbor.
Yes.
But there's a large number in the constituency that knows what happened.
No, sir. But hold on, my brother, because I don't want to disrupt you and I don't want to interrupt you. But when you're going to say that people family dead, well, your family, your mother dead, no, your responsibility that, sir.
I'm not talking about burying the family, neighbor. I'm talking to be there as an emotional support.
Oh, as a counselor.
Work for you.
Yes.
If that person is an election day worker.
Yes.
And you are their caretaker. It makes sense for you to provide emotional support.
Yes.
Not everything is about money. Secondly, we have agencies, and Mr. Dabney perfectly said it. You have places like Junkertown, Nagohead, Brayton, and our Prime Minister has created so much job opportunities. And even though we can say some of them don't want to walk to the institution themselves, ask Mr. Dabney how many youths has he reached out to. And I said this in the interview earlier today. If you come into Southern St. Catherine and you do a census and you question 200 people, I guarantee you less than 5 persons will know them right now.
No, how you mean?
The reason for that is because he hasn't improved.
No, sir, you're exaggerating. Father Miles.
You don't live in the constituency. You cannot tell me how the constituency is.
5 people, sir?
That's the level of disrespect we get consistently.
Neighbor, because the average vote for Southern St. Catherine is 5,000 votes, and right now they was not able to move it.
Hold on.
2 times around.
Hold on, Father Miles.
Second, please, Father Miles.
Nonsense.
Father Miles.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes. Is it possible we could allow Mr. Dobney to finish, then we speak to you, because it's coming across as confrontational? So is it possible we could just end the conversation?
Confrontational if neighbor is keep interrupting me. I'm trying to just explain to you why the protest.
With the great no. So with the greatest of respect, you did not come up here to do a monologue. You came here to have a conversation, and I must seek clarity as you go along. Now, if you say 5 people in the constituency know Mr. Dobney, that's exaggerating, sir. Come on.
That is not exaggerating. The people went out and voted for Andrew Michael Holness, neighbor. Mr. Dobney is not a brand. He's a brand when he comes on your platform, sir. No one knows him. And you don't have to take my word for it. Jump in your car one day and do it yourself. Jump in your car and just do it yourself. Go out there and do a thing.
No, but I am not a defender of Mr. Dobney, sir. But I know Portmore, you know. I know Portmore. As a matter of fact, I was in Portmore when Mr. Dobney was running the last election. More than 5 people know him, sir. Come on.
You know, as I said, neighbor, the persons who protest are persons from the constituents.
Let me tell you something, sir. I think Father Miles, the cause of your party is not helped with your action, and even this interview does not help the cause of the party. If you have a problem with the caretaker, that is something I think should be settled internally, using the various channels in the party to express yourself, your grouses, and you have discussions there. The washing of dirty linen, sir, is not a good thing. And what you have done is created an unnecessary firestorm. I don't think Mr. Dobney is resisting change based on what he has said. And it's not fair for you to come here and seek to embarrass him either. Just hold on. Just hold on, sir. When you wait, man. When you say that the people voted for wholeness, that happens in the 63 constituencies in Jamaica, sir. It's not only in that constituency that the people voted for wholeness. That happened.
I beg to differ. And just let me just make this point.
I'm not through. But I'm not through. But I'm not through. But
MP, you create yourself as a brand, so you don't.
But I am not through, Father Miles. I am not through.
So the MPs also have a responsibility to be on the ground and to be filed.
I am not through, Mr. Miles. I'm not through. I am saying to you that organizations, I have run organizations, you know, sir, and people have sought to protest against me. They don't have a job. Organizations run well when we are able to settle our differences outside of the glare of cameras and the glare of the public. It does not help the organization in St. Catherine to have this public spat. And I think the image of the party can also be tarnished in this regard. And as a result of that, I don't think that we should continue this back and forth on this program, because I do not see the value of it. I really don't see the value of it. If you have a caretaker and you want that caretaker to be replaced, you initiate a process, and that process is not to put up placards on the street with those type of captions that I saw there today. I don't see how that helps. And as I said, I've never met Mr. Dobney. I've never met him. I don't know him. I just think that organizations do better when they amicably resolve their internal disputes outside of the glare of the public. Mr. Dobney?
Yes, I'm here.
It was great hearing from you, sir. And I want to encourage you, as I understand these things, you know, Dobney, that you know, and I know that the type of resources that you need to navigate that constituency right now, you don't have it. To the extent that you can mobilize support and point people into directions, it's something that you will have to do. I would suggest that you sit down and speak to these people, hear their concerns, even Father Miles here.
Neighbor, let me just say this, neighbor, and no, let me allow you to finish. Continue.
Okay. But Mr. D, we have to run. You hear?
No, let me just finally, neighbor, you have said it all, and we have encapsulated the fact that Southern St. Catherine is a fledgling constituency. It has diversity in its people, diversity of thoughts, diversity of objectives and opinion. But let us therefore, and I say to them, to all of us, let us be fair to the cause of a caretaker, a constituency that must allow itself to revolve positively around a party that is transformational and indeed eventually give value to a win at the poll. I do believe that fairness and good sense will prevail in the long run as we continue to build the brand JLP for all Jamaica, the best party.
Yeah.
And I dare believe that being part of it, we can continue to become a vanguard of Jamaica's transformation, even in Southern St. Catherine.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for having me.
No, oh yes. Okay. Oh yes. Thank you, sir. Anytime. Take care of yourself.
All right, good.
All right. Yeah. Listen. I think that this idea that we feel that we need to take to the streets over every little matter is not necessary, It's unnecessary. It means that we have to sometimes calm ourselves down and be respectful of each other. And I don't appreciate this argument of trying to embarrass the man about 5 people in the constituency know him. No, that's not true. And if you understand politics, those of you listening to me, of every 100, there may be some members of parliament like Carl Samuda, Everald Warmington. Yes, there are few politicians in Jamaica that are able to pull people to the polls. I can tell you this, that a lot of Jamaicans don't even know their members of parliament. Jamaicans vote for their party and their party leader. Now, that is not unique to Mr. Dobney's constituency. As a matter of fact, I think less than 10% of the voters vote for the MP. Less than 10%. The majority of people are Labourites. You're a Labourite, it don't matter who them put there, you vote. You're voting for your party and you're voting for your leader. Although we don't run a presidential system in Jamaica, but people largely vote for the prime minister, the head of the ticket. Yeah. Members of parliaments are like proxies, proxies. So look at the what we call garrison constituencies. Look at what we call garrison constituencies. It don't matter who you put in there. You think West Kingston, if I go to West Kingston to run, I go and win. If Caroline go down, they go run, she go and win. If Harry go down, they go win, they run, he go and win. And if Dobney go down to West Kingston to run, he might go win. Because the people are going to vote for the Jamaica Labour Party. They're Labour rights. They go vote. They're not voting for anybody else. So, yeah. Anyway, that is that.
Well, neighbor.
Yeah.
I would like to speak to Father Miles is his name. So we can arrange a protest for NaRRA. How about that?
well, that would be a good thing. Since as they are in the mood for protesting, maybe we should arrange a NaRRA protest. But this argument about people voting for members of parliament, it's far-fetched. We vote for the prime minister. Member Harry, good night, sir. How you do? Okay.
Good night, neighbor. Good night again, everybody.
Yeah. What you make of this discussion, member Harry?
Yeah, I'd love to put the people, Mr. Daphne, in a room and be the fly on the wall to hear, the full growth of what it is.
Yes.
Because it is new to me to see persons 7 months after an election actually putting up a protest against a caretaker, not an MP, not a caretaker. So that is new to me, and it's something I would have loved to explore. Because at this moment in time, it is not just NaRRA that we need to help rebuild their relationships to foster, and this is no different, right? Because you have to have some level of understanding from both sides, and then you meet in the middle to see what is the best solution, and figure it out going forward. Not as party lines, but as a people, with relationships and so on. But you want the interest of the best ones.
Harry?
You're cooking, Harry?
Spending too much time with Joshua?
You're cooking, man.
No.
You're cooking there, Harry? Or you're cooking for your Friday dinner?
I'm not. I'm actually just wrapping up and leaving the office, to be honest.
Okay. All right. It is unconscionable, says the opposition Senator Cleveland Tomlinson. I want to play him. Cleveland Tomlinson from the opposition. I want to play him. I have a couple things to say about
said that 138 million from hurricane burial donations in 2024 sat idle. I was never reported to the Minister of Finance as required by the law. Senator Morgan cannot credibly blame red tape for money that was never directed anywhere. These are not bureaucratic delays. This is a governance failure.
Okay.
Jamaicans who don't...
Okay.
The following.
So before I play the PNP's response, let me play for you what
donated in good faith deserve accountability.
The Jamaica Labour Party Senator Marlon Morgan put out. Let's listen to Marlon Morgan.
Williams had itemized the 67 billion Jamaican dollars being spent on Hurricane Melissa recovery and relief efforts during her contribution to this year's budget debate.
Okay, so the first thing there is that $67 billion from the government's budget, $67 billion was earmarked, set out by the finance minister. This argument about this $1.44 billion is a very weak argument, And sometimes I just wish that I was given an opportunity to prosecute these people from the opposition PNP. They are weak. They are wicked, They are spin doctors. They are something else, man. Oh, what a tangled web they weave when they set out to deceive the people. And I sometimes I feel it for the Jamaican people, I do. This web of deception from the comrades. Comrades, ease off now, man. What is wrong here? The political temperature in Jamaica is rising, And something is going to happen, Something is going to happen in Jamaica, right? There's just too much. The government right now is kind of defending the situation, and they should. You compare $1.44 billion to $67 billion. Tell me now, what is the argument about?
The referenced expenditure includes approximately $10 billion to assist Jamaicans to repair their roofs.
$10 billion to assist Jamaicans repair their roofs. $10 billion. Not 1.44 that was donated. Where are those people, by the way, that have gotten the checks? Where them there? I wonder if any of them listening to wonder if any of them listening to the program tonight that could come up here and tell me. Those who got the 200,000 and the $75,000, one of them. $10 billion, not 1.44, 10 billion. My good God, man. The people are unfair to this government, you know. The people are unfair to this government led by a desperate and wicked opposition. The expectations of this government are unmatched. People expect this government to do more than any other government in our history. It is a wickedness that them going on within Jamaica. And that's why I disconnected that conversation, because I tell you this. We have practiced a type of patronage politics in Jamaica that is, I don't know nowhere else in the world where hurricane come and government is responsible to put back your house together. I don't know anywhere in the world. In developed countries, people get insurance. The PNP themselves said, former Minister Danny Buchanan, that government is not an insurer. Government is not an insurer. But guess what? Everything in that is a country are politics. Everything in that is a country is politics. Tired of it, man. Tired of it. Tired of the lies. Tired of the deception. You know, if the Senate, if the PNP senator bad, make him come up here, so come up here, Senator. Come give me that argument. Come up here. Just come up on this program here with that absurd argument that your statement that you put out there. And I'm going to get to it. You know. I know my team don't want me to do all of this, but please bear with me. Go ahead, Minister Morgan.
It also includes $5 billion provided via the National Work Agency to conduct cleanup and other post-disaster relief activities. And
$5 billion for post-disaster cleanup. 10 billion for roofs, 5 billion. That's a 15 billion gone already. Remember, it's $1.44 billion that them are squeal over. Them set up $1.44 billion. It's an absurd argument.
Approximately $1 billion was expended on the provision of care packages. And
the government spent $1 billion for care packages. $1 billion. $1 billion is $1,000 million. The government spent $1,000 million to buy food and toiletries to give those people. $1,000 million was spent. And the PNP come talk about scandal.
It is also important to note that 3.2 billion Jamaican dollars has been expended to assist with the restoration of water supply, as well as an additional $3 billion has been expended to restore our agricultural sector.
Almost $7 billion to restore water and to restore agriculture. You see downtown in the Coronation Market. What are you talking about $1.44 billion? Oh, what a tangled web they weave. What a set of deceivers they are, man. The government should be proud. Listen, government should be proud of its accomplishment. It has
asking everyone to repost the live piece.
It has nothing to explain. Just as how you see Mr. Morgan is setting it out here, break it down and show the people. Listen a little bit more to the senator.
This allocation includes provisions of critical support to our farmers. Additionally, the government has spent the United States equivalent of 24 billion Jamaican dollars, which represented a loan to the Jamaica Public Service Company, the JP.
You hear that? $24 billion to get back your electricity. You have light? You have light tonight in your house? Your fan is running and your fridge? You know that. That's a government-led initiative. You can't beat that. And remember that the PNP was against it. The People's National Party was against the government lending the JPS the $24 billion. So then, had the PNP been in power, you still wouldn't have no light in your house. 7 months after the hurricane, you wouldn't have light. Then can't come talk to me.
Yes, Scott. This allocation fast-tracked the restoration of electricity to the vast majority of Jamaicans 5 to 6 months ahead of what was indicated by the JPSCO.
The Jamaica Public Service Company told the government that Jamaicans would not get back light 5 months after the passage of hurricane. And tonight, almost all Jamaicans have electricity in their house because of a proactive government that invested in the future, the security, the safety of the Jamaican people. $1.44 billion? Is that them I talk about? The government spent $67 billion already. Every labor right need to make sure say this is what the message is. $1.44 billion that was donated. The government has already spent 60. You want me to spell it out for you? $67 billion. $1 billion is 1,000 million.
As it relates to the approximately 1.44 billion Jamaican dollars that have been received in donor funds for Hurricane Melissa related support, 600 million of that amount is being used to build bases for the modular housing solutions for people whose dwellings have been destroyed.
So 600 million of that money, the government is using that to build bases for the modular houses for people whose houses were destroyed. Okay?
Additionally, $240 million is being used to support the Government of Jamaica directed roof repair program, where the JDF assists Jamaicans to restore their dwellings. This is separate, of course, from the roofs program. Additionally, $560 million has been committed to additional Melissa-related recovery efforts. Jamaica is in a new era of managing and accounting for public funds, in assuring donors and taxpayers alike of prudent stewardship. The government will not spend funds in the corrupt manner in which former PNP administrations have treated the people's resources. Indeed, the $1.44 billion donated to assist in our recovery and rebuilding efforts could not have been used willy-nilly. ODPEM needed to embark upon processes to ensure that the funds may be used and accounted for in accordance with budgetary rules, including the FAA Act. Separate and apart from the necessary expenditure approval, the government has prioritized the use of the funds donated to the Support Jamaica Hurricane Melissa Relief Platform on tangible and demonstrably evident initiatives that deliver lasting value to beneficiaries. These include the government-directed roof repair program, the purchase of modular housing solutions, and the
You can't stop the labor right them. Can't stop the labor right them. They can't stop the labor right them.
Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your rights when you hear the bell. Stand up for justice, hear the freedom bell. Remember us, the man, we serve you well.
Don't make a lot on the program tonight and just play the Labour Party anthem till 10 o'clock. Don't make me do it. I will play this Labour Party anthem from now till 10 o'clock. It is needed. The truth needs to be told. A lie them a tell. Lie them a tell. Lie them a tell. All right.
Equal rights and justice is our everlasting song. Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your rights when you hear the bell. Stand up for justice, hear the freedom bell. Remember us, the man, we serve you well. Stand up, Jamaicans, when you hear the bell.
Let me tell you something. There is too many people in Jamaica that are refusing to speak the truth. Take us too far to realize it. It is what it is. All right. Anyway, I tell you the truth. Listen.
Jamaica! Let us vote for a better Jamaica.
It's a better Jamaica.
In this election, let us
No election, don't call it, but listen, don't make me call election.
vote for Labour.
All when them a tell lie, eh?
Vote for Labour.
All when them a tell lie, the people are go vote Labour.
Vote for Labour.
Oh my goodness. Shower.
For Labour.
Yeah, they pay me. I say,
That's right. Me and my neighbor
well,
voting for Labour.
it's a Hello Neighbor show. You're your neighbor, eh? Take it easy. Anyway, let's get back to the show and make the Labour Party them the Labour rights them mash up the place tonight. Let's listen to this
dollars has been committed to additional military.
Let's listen to this little gentleman here now from the People's National Party. Listen to him for what it is worth.
This is Senator Cleveland Tomlinson, Deputy Spokesperson, Productivity, Efficiency and Competitiveness. It is unconscionable and scandalous that the government sat and donated money while thousands of Jamaicans suffered. People were hungry. People were sleeping under damaged roofs and no roofs at all. Families were struggling to rebuild their lives, and the money donated by generous Jamaicans and well-wishers to help them was simply sitting idle, going nowhere. Unlike the government, the facts are honest. The Auditor General confirmed that 88% of the 1.4 billion in Hurricane Melissa donations remain uncommitted. Not just unspent, uncommitted, meaning there was no plan, no contract, no obligation to deploy them. Bureaucracy slows spending, but it does not prevent a government from committing funds. So the question that must be asked, is why several months after Hurricane Melissa, did 88% of donated funds have no commitment whatsoever attached to them. And this appears to be a pattern because we must recall that the Auditor General said that 138 million from hurricane burial donations in 2024 sat idle and was never reported to the Minister of Finance as required by the law. Senator Morgan cannot.
Jamaica is on the right road and the choice is clear, you know. We can't afford a standstill, got to make the economy grow. Now, choose a red, dark, orange light, then the one needs a car slow. But prosperity bells are ringing now, on the green we have to go. So give that green light, and to give that green light.
I tell you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Jamaica is on the right road and the choice is clear, you know.
Choice is clear, you know.
We can't afford a standstill, got to make the economy grow. Now choose a red, dark, orange light, then the one needs a car slow. But prosperity bells are ringing now, on the green we have to go. So give that green light, and to give that green light.
Oh.
18th day of August.
All right. Listen. The PNP, listen to me. Uno not winning because uno tell lie. The comrades are misleading the Jamaican people, and it is a shame. It is a shame because the fact of the matter is that the government has spent $67 billion already, and the PNP is complaining about $1.4 billion that is earmarked to be spent. It's a lie.
Labour Party.
Yes, sir.
Jamaica is on the right road and the choice is clear, you know. We can't afford a standstill, got to make the economy grow.
I tell you.
Now choose a red, dark, orange light.
Well, Labour Party marching on. Where the Labour right them there? Where the Labour right them there? Where the Labour right them there? No matter what them say, Labour Party marching to victory. Come now.
All right, marching on to victory. Labour Party marching on to victory. Jump and shout, tell it all.
Jump and shout and tell it all about we shall have the victory. But the fact of the matter is, guys, we're not trying to be very, blasé. We Neighbor, you are the greatest. Run the song, Miss Selector. Run the song. What them talking? All right, run it.
We shall have the victory.
Come now, me and me neighbor. Belmont Road.
We shall have the victory. Come now, me and me neighbor. Oh yes, we're voting for Labour. All right, me and me neighbor. Bring them, we're voting for Labour. Carry them, me and me neighbor. We're voting for Labour. Oh yes, me and me neighbor. We're voting for Labour. All right, jump and shout, tell it all about. We shall have the victory.
Running breaks your joint.
Yes, we will now. They can need a chance to turn their life around. We are gonna make that change. Tell them again, they got to be a better way.
Roll call. Well, let's roll the call. Roll. My God Almighty, what am I doing?
Roll call.
Drop foot tonight, drop foot. Prosperity, we say, roll call. Roll call.
Roll call, Jamaicans make your mark. Roll call, make your mark. Roll call, make your mark.
Well, they might roll out the labor right there. I will not cause it, you know. We not come ready to cause it. We not cause it. Let's start the campaign for the 4th. Let's start the campaign. All right. Let's start the campaign.
Roll call. Prosperity we say roll call. If they get everything there, prosperity will come up. Roll call. Jamaicans make your mark. Roll call. Make your mark. Roll call. Make your mark. Prosperity we say roll call. If they get everything there, prosperity I call. Roll call, brother, sister, roll call. Labor trade, roll call. Up and running.
Hey, damsel, where you there? Hey, damsel. What?
Prosperity.
Damsel?
Check your message.
Okay.
Labor party, roll call. Roll call. Make your mark. Roll call.
Hey, damsel, how you doing tonight?
Prosperity we say, make your mark.
Boy, the PNP them start fret already. Them a fret. Them a fret, you know.
Roll call, brother, sister, roll call. And your name I call. And your name I call. Your name I call.
Caroline, your name a call. Hey, Jen, your name a call. Golden child. On fire, your name a call.
Prosperity a call. Roll call, brother, sister, make your mark. Roll call. Roll call. Jamaicans, do your part. Operation Mountain for prosperity.
NaRRA, we said NaRRA.
Brother, sister, roll.
One NaRRA, one labor. NaRRA, we said NaRRA.
Young people near my call. They near my call. And you will let near my call. On the last Sunday, put the X beside the bell. Roll call, brother, sister, make your mark.
My goodness, YouTube, how you doing?
Roll call.
One NaRRA. Tell them so we want NaRRA. We're going on the street for NaRRA.
You will say roll call. Then for Jamaica to go, PNP have to go. Roll call, brother, sister, make your mark. You will say.
You and the man say for Jamaica to grow, PNP have to go.
Got to go. PNP have to go.
Tell us the PNP have to go. Come. For Jamaica to grow, PNP have to go.
And the name I call. The neighbor name I call. Young people name I call. They name I call. And so
All right, I will get back to a little bit of that later on, you know. The party start. Remember Harry? Remember Harry is, man. Oh, boy, I tell you. Remember? Remember Harry, you start the party yet?
Why neighbor? It sound like everybody are warm up, you know.
They're warming.
Call it neighbor,
Call it. But the fact of the matter, though, member Harry, is that the comrades are being a little disingenuous, not even more than a little disingenuous. When you listen to Senator Morgan outline the $67 billion that the government has already sent, what is this thing about this $1.4 billion that the government has earmarked to spend on the people, Harry?
Neighbor, it's all about trying to tie or rather to pin the diaspora in terms of those who gave donations, neighbor.
Yes.
Against the government. It's trying to give that narrative to say, in a sense, see, only go the money and the government now use it and it's still people that they are suffer. And I'm still asking the question of all these many persons who are quote unquote suffering. I have yet to see any evidence of those people. If these people are suffering to the extent that these opposition MPs are saying they are, come with the evidence, give me the evidence.
Yes.
Let us see how we can help them. But we've yet to see that. And as such, it just makes them look even worse, neighbor. And to be honest, I've been watching specifically Senator Cleveland,
Right. This young man is absurd, Harry.
Neighbor, in our terms, in the youthful terms, we would say he might try too hard. He's punching above his weight limit, and I
Definitely
caution him to stay in his weight class.
Definitely.
Right? It's something that will hurt him more than develop him. I've watched him several times, and for a young man, it is not. It's not becoming of somebody who can be a proper representative.
Very discouraging, Harry. You are quite correct.
Neighbor, he needs to roll it back and understand that, listen, there are ways to go about bringing across your disagreement or your opposition stance, but not to be painting it in such demeanor way, neighbor. And I'm calling on him as well, because I'm not accepting what's his name again? Senator Brown apology for him.
Yes.
Man, you disrespected a senator publicly.
A fine lawyer.
Step to the front, right?
Talking about he wouldn't want her to represent him for a traffic ticket. Out of order.
And neighbor, him can't afford her.
Why?
That is the next part of it. But I don't want to go down that road. The truth is, you are doing things that is unbecoming of a representative representative for the people in this modern way of politics. You are and this is no disrespect to him or anybody, but he's running very close to the actions of a Nikisha Burchell. And that, for me, neighbor, don't spell good.
Yes.
That's not a good example. And if he's cut from the same cloth as Nikisha Burchell, he needs to understand himself, neighbor. That's a warning I'm giving to him. He needs to rebrand and he needs to wheel and come again in essence.
Comment on Minister Morgan, Senator Morgan's outlining this. It's a very important statement Morgan put out today, Harry. Very, very important. Outlining to Jamaica what the government has already done. Is that not cheese to chalk, Harry? $67 billion already spent?
It is, neighbor. But you see the thing with it is we short term. We have memory loss, amnesia. We can't add any other medical condition that messes with the memory capacity. The truth about it is that we have been caught in recency bias. And that's a dangerous thing as a people looking to continue a recovery process, right? And everything new and everything fresh and coming up, you need to run, go take. Understand what has been done. Slow down. When you see a soundbite and a clickbait, pause. All it takes is 10 seconds. Pause. And look back at 7 months ago. What happened? What have been done? And when you look at what have been done, compare it to what is the news now. Because 67 billion, neighbor, it's like everybody has forgotten how the government have mobilized resources, how it has built. We have built back a lot in a neighbor. We have actually built back, right? But it is this advanced stage that we will have to go now, and the government have spoken, and a happy Senator Morgan came and spoke and gave the information. People who wanted to know what is happening with the 1.44 billion. And it's damning, neighbor, and disheartening to know that the money is accounted for and people want it to look like the money missing. We've become used to money missing from government. That culture that we are not even realizing that all of the money there, it is designated for projects. The project them not hide, and the projects have to go through the necessary processes. And if people want to come and say, well, it a move slow, okay, where you going to put the house them?
Quite true.
You going to put them back where them did there?
Quite true.
Are you going to now give these people put houses on lands that is not owned by people? Remember, we still have land tenureship problem, and that has to be rectified as well. Neighbor, we have water tables that have risen in over 100 years or probably longer. Jamaica has not seen those water tables. And those logs have come up all over the place. You cannot build where you were before. Assessments have to be done, because what is going to happen is, where we are right now, neighbor, if you put these people back where they are, I can guarantee you, we don't need a hurricane. Give us a tropical storm that hovers over Jamaica for a week, and if we don't have the same problem, or worse. We need to stop and understand what it is. It is going to be a slow process, because we have to correct the foundation. You can't put up house for a weak foundation. Next thing, when by the time you reach, you go up on the roof, everything collapsed. You waste resources, time, and everything, and you have to now build back. Let us slow down and take a breath. Understand what is happening, put it into context, and don't run with narratives, because that is all the opposition has right now to feed on. And it shows how irrelevant they are becoming.
Yes, yeah. If somebody want me to play this. Oh my, it's a Friday night.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Labor parties and them hot, eh?
Feeling hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Why Shefreen? I think I may mash up YouTube, you know. Oh, YouTube. Wow, I hope this can play over there.
JLP on fire. We soul on fire. We're feeling hot, hot, hot. Party people all around it, feeling hot, hot, hot. What we do.
Ivor, I don't think you should play that one, please.
Okay, okay. All right. Listen to this.
We are gonna make a change. Jamaica didn't turn to turn the life around. We are gonna make a change. We are the neighbor. We're voting for Labour. Oh yes. We are the neighbor. We're voting for Labour. We are the neighbor. We're voting for Labour. We are the neighbor. We're voting for Labour.
The UK offers strong career
We shall have the victory. Jamaica. We shall have the victory. Hello.
Well, this is courtesy of my friend. Yes. You know yourself. You want me to play this for you? Well, here is it. Hey Stormy, how you doing? Sophia Powell, 2011. Dean Allison.
Prosperity we say, make your mind. If you name it, prosperity apart. Roll call, brother, sister, roll call. Labor trade, roll call. Up and running, roll call. Prosperity is coming. You better get on board. Roll call, Labour Party, roll call. Roll call.
All right. The party is too hot on this Friday. I would take off my jacket. Yeah, go ahead.
I've just something just came to my
Neighbor.
mind. I just did a quick calculation. opposition.
Please stick to the JLP anthem or national
That's
anthem.
why
Okay.
the opposition is fighting so hard about the 1.44 billion.
Yes.
How much money did Mark Golding ask for in Melissa?
50 million for each member of parliament. How much is that?
For each member of parliament. Okay. I want you to hold both figures, the 1.44 billion
Yes.
and the 50 million. How many member of parliaments does the opposition have?
28.
Neighbor, 1.44 billion divided by 50 million gives you 28.8 million. So, what I'm saying is, sorry, not 28.8 million, 28.8. What I'm saying is, that is 50 million for each opposition member of parliament.
So the 1.44 that the government got in donations could have given each member of parliament $50 million.
50 million, that is it, neighbor.
What a coincidence. What a coincidence. Wow. Fascinating.
We can't make this up, neighbor.
You can't make it up.
Definitely can't make this up.
Wow. I wonder how this came about. But you know,
It's very shocking, neighbor.
Harry, the argument of the opposition is very weak. It's very, very weak when it comes on to this 1.4 billion dollars that they are making up noise over. Not strong argument at all. I wonder if we have callers though, moderator. Let's see who we have online to join the discussion. Let's go in and talk with the callers. Good evening to you, Eastern St. Andrew. Good evening, user. Hello, 946. Good evening to you, sir. No. Eastern St. Andrew, are you there? I don't have that. Honeybee, good evening to you.
Good evening, neighbor.
Top of the evening to you. How are you?
Well, I'm good, and I hope everybody's okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was just sitting down and my daughter came to me and she said, she said to me, Mommy, these people from the opposition side is turning parliament in one party shop. So I said, what is it? No. She said, Mommy, didn't you? I said, who is it? She said, Nikisha Burchell. So I said, okay. I said, I'm not sure I have the energy for this at this time. She said, Mommy, remember, Patois is a Creole. It's not an official language. Our official language is English. How can you get up in the parliament when you're on a Westminster's parliament and speak in Patois? That does not make any sense. So the Speaker of the House must caution you. She can't sit and allow you to do that. So I said, Devendra, listen, understand that I'm not sure what is going on with them over there.
Yes.
And I don't even care to understand. Another thing I listened to today, I heard Cliff Hughes. He said, Mark Golding his topic is that he wants the Prime Minister, the government to sign off on making the CCJ or final court in order for him to say okay to NaRRA. What is that? I don't get that. Those are two different topics entirely. NaRRA is for rebuilding the country. That we went through a category 5 hurricane. We have never seen that in all the history of Jamaica. So how can you expect that to be a topic when we are discussing the rebuilding? You did not want constitution reform, then why do you want to put that in now? So I'm trying to understand.
Hold on. How does that come into NaRRA though, ma'am?
That is my point. I don't get it. But you know, I will say this and I will always say this. The PNP is a set of hypocrites. They are not for the rebuilding of Jamaica. They are about filling them pockets. And I was so upset this morning when I hear about, I was scrolling and you know that thing, I think it's on RG or one of those things. I'm not sure if the tourist station where you have the Full House Friday.
Uh-huh.
And I heard the guy, Dufton, he was asking a question. I said, but that's not the question they should be asking though. He was saying they know how much money is there and what is happening with the money. It is an investment. I said, what a dumb question. First of all, the money is there, the money is not missing. The problem is the same thing that the Prime Minister is trying to avoid now, using NaRRA. That is what causing that money to be there and not being used. Because the procurement process takes time.
Yes.
I said, first of all, the money is right there. I said, mind the word. She did not say the money was missing or unaccounted for. It is there. Nobody put any in them pockets. It is right there. And I said to someone when I was speaking to them today, I said, you know what? This Prime Minister literally walk on eggshell in the country that he's the Prime Minister of. Because they already paint him as a thief by using the Integrity Commission. So now, these people that, because I heard them speak already, that tell you, me not go vote. Then why are you, for me, this is my talk. If you don't vote, you don't have a voice. You have nothing to say. Because you did not help to put anyone there on either side. So you don't have any conversation in this. Because if you wanted to be a part of the conversation, you would have voted. That's just my belief. Because you cannot give a few people that don't have any head, any civic knowledge to make decisions for you. Because most of who voted for PNP, they vote out, my mother was this and my father was this, and they like the handout culture. They just don't want any change. You're used to the way things is, and you're not progressive people. That's just simple it about the PNP. I was so, today when I was scrolling, I was so upset. My son took off his earphone today and said, Mommy, I just really need to not hear Mark Bolin for a long time. This man is getting on my nerve. And I was like, what is it? And he said he was speaking to a friend. Mind you, this is a teacher in one of the most prestigious schools in Jamaica, one of those IN.
That's your son, man?
No, not him. His friend. My son, I tell you, my son did biochemistry, right? And my son, so most of his friends that he went to St. George's with, everybody take a different part, but they still keep a close contact. And he said to him, this is a teacher, he said to him, you keep trying to explain to me, and you keep telling me where to go to find the information. And he said, today, I read something, and I had a simple eye-opener. I can't believe how stupid those people are, and why is Jamaica so blind? And he says like a light bulb went off. And I said, what is it? And he said he read the report, the Auditor General. He said he read the entire report. And he don't see why they are running with just a line or two. And I'm saying, get it. But him to understand, so my son said to him, because they don't understand simple English, because they're not trained. And they lock their mind, because him said they can know, you know, and some of them know, but they just want to follow the propaganda.
Yes, ma'am. So, the government spent $67 billion. 1.4 billion earmarked to be spent. What's the problem?
Exactly, that's what the guy was asking.
What is the problem?
Was asking. And he's saying, because you know when they go and they have the weekend, they're sitting and they talk, and the discussion come up because they are young professionals, right? And the discussion will come up in your conversations. And my son always said, listen, if you can't listen to reason and if we can't have a discussion where everybody get to put their views across, leave me out of it. I always tell him it's like him grandfather, him not into any argument with anybody, him just step away. You can have your discussion. And that's how he is. And I realize the more him see people that should be educated people, these are university graduates, and he's saying sometimes the things that come out of their mouth, he's like, where did you go to school? Did you learn anything? Or do you get a degree? And I said to him, don't get so upset, just relax. Not everybody's going to see your views. If someone, but I don't want them to get my views. I want them to understand that if you read something and you don't get the understanding, you should read it again. Because they taught you that in school.
But it's becoming vulgar. It's becoming vulgar, ma'am, and
that is
quite frankly, absurd. The government spends $67 billion already. 1.44 is earmarked. The government has told us how they're going to spend it. What is the issue?
That's the point.
There is no corruption. None of it has gone into anybody's pocket. Nothing has come out to say this money is not there. The money is being used to help the people. It a put on back roof. It a build foundation. Yes.
One of the things they were saying to neighbor, money is there from burial that has not been used. So what? People from burial got help. And I know that personally because I know people that get help. More than one person's. So people got help in burial. And people got help since Melissa Blow. But the situation is, and I keep asking, where in any other country you see people sit down waiting for government to build back their house? I said, in the United States, you have tornadoes, you have all kind of things. I said, let me tell you something. You know how long Puerto Rico get a hurricane? And Puerto Rico is still not built back as yet. I say Bahamas, if you go to Bahamas, you see some shops that are damaged until this day from the last hurricane they had. And it's not Melissa because people still don't rebuild as yet. And you don't see anybody doing it, coming on social media and going on with the foolishness. Because if you live in the United States, you live in a place like Florida, anywhere that is flood prone, Texas, and you have to have flood insurance. Because if you don't get a flood insurance, nobody's going to help you to build back or to refurnish your house when things get damaged. You have to take up that on yourself. So I don't understand why everybody wants to sit down. The government is there to aid. And yes, we can't compare to United States because they are first world, as they would say. And I refuse to call Jamaica third world. I'm sorry. I'm not into that one. So I'm asking them, where do you see that? And nobody can give me an answer. I said, because you people are hypocrites and you hold the JLP to a different standard than you hold the PNP. We understand that because they do have different standard. But what you expect the JLP to do in 10 years, you never demand that same accountability for 18 and a half years from the People's National Party. So that's where I have a problem. You never demand that. You allow them to sit in Parliament and year after year you have wage freeze. People are suffering and they said because it was election, they run with it. And we sit down and we take it. But at the same time, when I look back in 2007, when Bruce Golding won, I see that lady, I thought it was Enid Anderson or something like that, how she behaved with Ardley Shaw for the nurses. And she was one of them who was under the wage freeze. And you did not behave like that. And those things for me is hypocrisy. And it gets me so angry how you can be so blinded by politics. You can't see that what you're doing is not helping the country, it is breaking the country down.
Yes.
And I don't understand why people sit down. Because I was listening last night, and I'm telling you, you see progressive, that's what his name, Jamaica? Protecting
Jamaica.
Okay. What he said, neighbor, is is absolutely the truth. A lot of them permanent secretaries and those people in the parliament and in these government agency, they are padded there from the PNP was in power over 18 and a half years. If you know, you know. You remember when the JUTC, how much of them they hired?
Yes.
They hired, so they were there doing nothing, neighbor. They were there doing nothing. And the bus company was at a loss every time. Because when the election was coming for 2016, they hired a lot of people that had nothing to do and give them jobs. I'm telling you. Because I know it's not a question. And after, they had to, some of them had to get redundant because there was nothing for them to do. They are not drivers.
Yes.
We are no longer using conductors. So what is your purpose?
Yeah, gonna have to leave it there, Honeybee, till tomorrow. Make sure you come on at 5. You hear?
Yes, man. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Yeah. So listen to me, listeners. Senator Tomlinson, you see, he rests his argument on a convenient but philosophically shallow assumption. That young senator, Senator Tomlinson, I suspect that you are learning the craft. You are assuming that money sitting unspent automatically proves indifference, incompetence, or neglect. But governance is not measured merely by the speed which funds are disbursed, because responsible governance is measured by whether public resources are protected and are properly accounted for, that it is lawfully allocated and sustainably deployed in ways that genuinely serve the people rather than satisfy political optics. The difference between the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party in this case is, had the PNP received that $1.4 billion, it would have been a scandal. It would have been a scandal. And that is the difference. Robinson, good evening to you. Robinson Unfiltered, good evening to you.
Yes, good evening.
Top of the evening to you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, good evening, good evening. Okay. So, I recently was having a conversation with somebody online, right? And the person said that the government is not helping the people to come out of poverty. So, I have a question, right? Is it the government's responsibility to get one out of poverty, or is that the responsibility of a person to get themselves out of poverty? That's just a question, right? Second thing, they complaining about the money.
Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Government exists for a reason. Thomas Jefferson gives us one of the best definitions of government, sir. At the Declaration of Independence of the United States, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, among them the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that it is to secure these rights that government exists among men. Governments do not exist to build you houses. Government do not exist to get you out of poverty necessarily. What the government exists to do is to create an environment where you can pursue your hopes and your dreams, driven by your ontological being, your ambition. And, sir, in that regard, the current government is succeeding at its responsibility. I can't say the same thing about previous government. You know, Mr. Damian Crawford is taking the government to court. And I think that the people of Jamaica should consider taking the PNP to court. There are families in Jamaica. Well, you know, let me not be too controversial, but I don't know, sir, that the government of the 90s, the government of PJ Patterson, fulfilled its constitutional mandate to the people of Jamaica. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Robinson.
Yes, my brother. Well said. Go ahead, Robinson. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hello?
I am having a feedback, sir, but I am hearing you loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Okay. Well said. I agree 100%. I am having a feedback, sir, but I am hearing you loud and clear. Okay, I am driving, so that's probably the reason. I agree with you 100%. Well said. Need not explain it anymore.
Hi, Mr. Robinson. Could you please log out and rejoin, please? You're echoing.
Okay. While we await his return, the very safeguards now being criticized are the same safeguards Jamaicans would demand if funds were misused, stolen, rushed, or improperly distributed through corruption and sabotage. The safeguards are in place to prevent corruption. A government entrusted, you see, with disaster donations has a moral obligation. Listen to me carefully. That moral obligation also comes about with taxpayers' money. A government entrusted with disaster donations has a moral authority, no, a moral obligation, not merely to spend the money. Mr. Tomlinson, young Senator Tomlinson, not only to spend the money, but to spend it responsibly. Prudence is not paralysis. Accountability is not abandonment. The government must take its time and ensure that every dollar it collects on behalf of the citizens of Jamaica is accounted for. Prudence is not paralysis. And it don't matter what they try to, how they try to spin it, the Jamaica Labour Party government is doing the correct thing in ensuring that there is probity and there is accountability. Listen, equal right and justice shall be the everlasting song. The government is doing for Jamaica what it ought to do. And in that regard, it should be supported. Every laborite should be proud tonight. Listen to me. Listen to your anthem. Listen to an anthem. Grab with the peanut and the juice.
Equal rights and justice.
Have a drink.
These are everlasting
Cheers.
songs. Unity and progress will make our nation strong.
Unity and progress will make the nation strong. Stand up for your rights and don't make people brainwash you and tell you foolishness. The very safeguards that are now being criticized are the same safeguards Jamaicans would demand if funds were misused. Senator Tomlinson attempt to frame uncommitted funds as evidence of moral failure ignores an important distinction between financial administration and emergency response. The existence of uncommitted donated funds does not mean that the government failed to act. That's rubbish. The existence of uncommitted donated funds does not mean the government failed to act. The government spent $67 billion. It's a rubbish argument Mr. Tomlinson is making. The government disaster response did not cease. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. The government disaster response did not cease because donations had not yet been formally obligated. The government was not waiting on the donations to act. As a matter of fact, the government, through its disaster bond, started planning for the people of Jamaica long before $1 was given to the disaster fund set up by the website. The PNP is talking rubbish. Long before $1 was given to the website, the government of Jamaica, through its finance minister Nigel Clark, insured the country against the disaster. And it was not $1.44 billion. It was, how much was it, Member Harry?
Repeat that for my neighbor.
How much money we got from the disaster bond?
24 billion.
24 billion.
Which is 150 million US.
That is long before one red cent was placed online, correct?
That's correct, neighbor.
You're right. So before people start giving to the government had already started planning for the people of Jamaica. What is Senator Tomlinson? Plus from the budget.
Plus funds that were budgeted for disaster.
Plus funds that were budgeted for disaster. What is Senator Tomlinson say? Good evening to you, Evangelist Young. Hello. Hello.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. So much I have to talk about. Trust me, I need to defog my brain.
Oh.
There's so much I have seen happening lately.
Yes, go ahead. Hurricane, hold on. Are you making a mistake there, sir? It's Hurricane Melissa.
Hurricane PNP, the one that happened before Hurricane Melissa.
You call the PNP a hurricane, sir?
Yes, why? Because every time they go in parliament, they create a storm.
Every time they go into the parliament, they create a storm.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And also they are inciting things. They are inciting the people against the government. And I'll give you an example. We're not against what Nikisha, was it Nikisha Burchell, right? She is aware of the standing order, right?
Yes.
And she knows that the reason why Patois is not allowed in parliament is not so much because we don't like our Jamaican culture. We like our Jamaican culture. But parliament is a thing that is viewed worldwide. And it's not like once upon a time when people used to use typewriter in parliament, right? They have this automated thing that records what you say in parliament. And if you use patois in parliament, you won't be able to record what was said in parliament. So that in particular comes in the standing order to remind members that once you're in parliament, what you're doing should be done in English. Now she is going to say no, instead of being repentant about what she did, because we understand what she's trying to do. She's trying to promote our culture, but there is a time and a place for everything. Plus, she overstepped her bound. In that she should have asked the Speaker of the House permission before she go against the standing order. Another thing.
Hold on for me, Evangelist. Hold on for me. Here is Miss Burchell on Smile Jamaica speaking to Neville Burtis Bell. Listen to her.
Of the House said you knew better, and she said it 2 times. She said she knows better. You knew better.
I knew better than to not represent my culture, for the people of Jamaica to not hear their language, to hear themselves in Parliament. I don't.
I was asked a question about Dr. Brown Burke's lifting the mace, and I said in response that if you don't have rules and order, there will be chaos. I accept that some of those rules probably shouldn't be there, but they are there. So why don't you follow the rules that are there, and then when the time comes, if possible, change them? But while the rules are there, why don't you follow them?
So when is the time? And when?
Well, you should tell me that when
exactly,
the time is.
Which is why I raised that mirror for parliamentarians, for legislators to look at themselves. Is this how you want to represent your parliament and your people in 2026? That was me disrupting it. That was me spurring the conversation to say it's time for change. And clearly, Parliament wasn't ready for that conversation. But you know who's ready for it? The diaspora. Who's ready for it? Jamaica is ready for that conversation. And they're having the conversation. I get the controversy, but controversy is good. That is how culture evolves. I want Jamaicans, I want our children to be able to rigorously learn and speak the English language, but I want them to intelligently navigate the Jamaican language. I want them to own it, because language is confidence. I want our children to confidently speak them patois in a parliament, out of parliament, in official, informal spaces, in informal spaces. For Read Across Jamaica Day last week, I went to a couple of schools in my constituency. I didn't bring an English book about Spider-Man, Superman. I brought Jamaica Labrish by Louise Bennett. I brought Anansi Stories by Louise Bennett. And I was surprised a lot of the kids, they don't know who is Brother Tukuma. They don't know who is Big Boy. They don't know who is Anansi. We're losing it. And if we don't disrupt it, jolt society, then we're going to stay the same.
I was going to say I would suspect, I don't know. But I've seen Parliament, and you're a part of the opposition. Mm-hmm. If a member of the government did something that's wrong in Parliament, I suspect the opposition will jump on board and say, hold on, you did something wrong.
Well, that's up for debate. As I said,
hold on. The rules of Parliament
says
say you must speak standard English. That's not up for debate. That's the standard order 6.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes. But we were in what is called a sectoral debate.
Mhm.
And the rules of debate allow you to use literary devices. This was a disruptive communicative device where you use jargons, you use slangs, you use other languages. I was following the rules of English language itself, which gives you literary devices that you can use. I did not, however, challenge the speaker's authority. She made her decision. She had an option. To do what she did, which was quite predictable, or she could have risen to the moment to say for our culture, for a spokesperson on culture to come into our house and to confidently speak our language. I could allow 2 sentences because that's what she could have done as an enlightened leader. But
was your presentation?
Okay, 2 things there. Number 1 is that Miss Birchall is saying that Miss Wholeness is not an enlightened leader. The speaker is not enlightened. And secondly, that she deliberately did it. She deliberately did it, knowing very well the standing order. She deliberately went to the Parliament to stir controversy. You hear that, sir?
I hear what she said, neighbor, and what she said was a whole bag of nothing. Because as a pastor's daughter, she should know that the scripture says that we must honor the laws of our land. And if the law says that when you're in Parliament, remember, when you're in Parliament, the world is watching, and other countries who are not used to the Jamaica dialogue, they wouldn't understand what was said if you were to use the Jamaican patois in Parliament. So they say, all right then, let us just stick with the official language that many people know, which is the English language. And I think it is proper to use the English language in Parliament. Another thing you need to understand, there's a time to express culture, right? And there's a time to honor the laws of the land. Now, what she's trying to do is to, instead of being repentant, what she's trying to do is defend her action, similar to what Mrs. Brownberg does. And I do believe, based on what she said, she's saying that she deliberately caused a disruption. It means that she go there to start trouble. She just go there to start trouble, seeing that the House Speaker, have been under severe backlash because she stand up for the standing order when Mrs. Brown-Burke lifted the mace. And I hear she saying, instead of apologizing for what she did, she start raising debate about embargo and all sort of nonsense. There's a time and a place for everything, and there's a wrong way to do something, and there's a right way to do something. What they are doing is they are doing things the wrong way, and you know that the majority of Jamaicans, not the majority, but you have their followers in particular. Most of their followers, they don't know anything at all. They don't understand anything. They just listen to what the leaders say and they follow the leaders blindly, just like how some people, they don't read Bible for themselves. They depend on us to read the Bible and then come and spoon feed them with it, which cause false teaching to breed in many churches. And it's the same thing that I see happening in Parliament. And she, as a pastor's daughter, should have known better than that. And the first time, watch this, she have never seen any of the other MPs have done it before. She's a first-time MP. I understand her enthusiasm about our Jamaican culture, but there's a time and a place for anything. All right, then. You want to promote the culture. Why not form a group and then formally and then
get some petitions or something, and then present it, find an opportune time to present it or propose it to Parliament, instead of using your sectoral debate to cause a disruption. And you notice, neighbor, many of their followers, they don't do research. They just do the thing called run with it. So anything that the leaders say, even when the leaders talking crap, they said run with it. You understand? And this is what they are using to cause confusion in Parliament, targeting. I do believe they're deliberately targeting the House Speaker. And why I say that is because the House Speaker is a disciplinarian. She's a discipline. You can know people that their grandmother grew up with, you know. And Mrs. Holness is a person where her grandmother grew up with, because she's a disciplinarian. You understand? And that's what they have again. That's why they say she's like a dictator. But being following rules may not gain your favor with the masses, but you only want to know that you're doing the right thing.
Yes. Yes.
And one other thing before I go, neighbor.
Yes, sir.
I was explaining something about what the NaRRA does, because a lot of persons really don't understand the NaRRA. Even when it is explained so many times, they don't understand what the NaRRA really is.
Yes.
Remember, there are many times when the government has been brought into view because they underspend. And the reason why they underspend things that have been budgeted to deal with certain thing in terms of development or whatever, it's because of the long and lengthy bureaucracy that is involved. And for those persons who don't understand what bureaucracy is, it's the hierarchy that approve whatever is proposed. They are the ones that always hold up the thing. So, and sometimes it takes months before they approve something. And this is what contributed towards the money that was budgeted to be spent in a particular time. This is what caused it not to be spent, or what caused the government to underspend many times. So what the NaRRA is doing is trying to minimize this lengthy bureaucracy, so that people can get back their lives in the shortest possible time. The people can move out from under the tarpaulin, from under the tent meeting, aka tarpaulin settings, and they can move into somewhere comfortable, and that the business places can rebuild, because they have lost a lot of money because of what the hurricane did. Because if you notice, even in Black River, right? Black River of all places, they were literally building the sea. I know Black River, I used to work down there as a security officer. And most of the business places by the seaside. So where the government proposed to move to rebuild Black River is way better than right there at the seaside. Even the hospital itself is literally in the sea. You understand? So bringing the NaRRA forward and start to get the work done, instead of going things the traditional way, is the best thing for Jamaica. Because what I've noticed is that this Prime Minister, this government, the JLP government, always try to do things to help people, while the opposition is always trying to create a storm. That's why I call them hurricane people, PNP. Hurricane people, PNP is always trying to create destruction, because what? They realize that if the JLP succeed in what they're doing now, they not have no comeback to come back, because the people is going to see who is really building Jamaica. Look at Siaga. Siaga build up Tivoli. And look how many years down there in Westmoreland. Look how many years the People's National Party have Westmoreland. And people still live in boardhouse and zinc house down there. When I heard it, I couldn't believe And these people continue to support the People's National Party. You know what I don't understand with us, neighbor, as Jamaican people? If you try something one way and it don't work, why you don't try it another way? I have been watching, I always like to sit down and watch people opening a door to go in the bank, you know. They put the door mark pull and they keep pushing the door. And I see them pushing and I sit down and I observe. I said, sir, if you push the door and you see the door now open, try pulling the door now, you still have push the door. It's the same thing with the People's National Party in Westmoreland and Hanover. You see they're not doing anything for you. You're still putting them in power. You're still going to expect things to change. How will things change if you keep doing the same thing over and over? Thank you, neighbor.
Well, then,
Thank you.
thank you so much, my brother. Great to have you as always. Lovely. Thank you so much, Evangelist Young. Fantastic. Good night to you, Scratchy.
Blessed night, sir. Blessed night, Mr. Neighbor, and the viewers and subscribers and everyone over there on the different platforms.
By the way, Scratchy, earlier this week you were having a little heartbreaking thing. I hope that you're better, doing better.
Oh yeah, neighbor, you know this is Scratchy neighbor. Scratchy have style and we have charm in the neighbor, so we don't break for too long, you know.
Okay. You know, Scratchy. Before I move on with you, it's sometimes it's difficult to get over an ex. You have that, you know that.
I mean, definitely, neighbor. We are human beings, neighbor. We
Yes.
are made up of blood. We are made up of tissues and all type of thing, neighbor. We have emotions and we have feelings, neighbor. So definitely difficult sometimes, neighbor. But I mean, as I said, neighbor, once you have charm, neighbor, that's all you need, you know.
Okay.
Scratchy have charm, so.
Okay. I learned a couple
But
of
I'm
weeks.
good now, though.
You're good now.
I'm good now.
Well,
yeah.
I'm hard for you. I learned a
The
couple
person
of.
fixed me up, but the person fixed me up.
Oh, you mean the person who broke it fixed it?
Yeah, fix it back, yeah.
Wow. But you know, there's a danger there, you know, Scratchy, because they that broke are not necessarily the ones that do the good fixing. Let me share something with you before you go on. There's what you call trauma bonding, and that is you can be in a situation where a person who causes you pain becomes the person who soothes the pain. You know, toxic relationships.
Yes.
You ever wonder why a man can abuse a woman and yet
Still stay.
yeah, and they have wonderful sex? You ever wonder that?
Yes, neighbor. It's something you can do.
Yeah, it's trauma. It's trauma. So what happens is that the brain gets wired to the person, and the source of pain becomes the source of the pleasure. So when the heart breaks, and if it is breaking for a particular individual, and you go to that individual, and that individual gives you pleasure, then your brain now is wired for the medicine. So it's almost like every time them broke it, them bill it. Them broke it, them bill it. It's a difficult thing. But we can talk about that another time, eh?
Definitely. We can have a discussion about that.
Trauma bonding. There are chemical reactions that goes off in your brain, you know, especially when you've been with someone for quite a while and they move on. Oxytocin, I think it is. That's a chemical. I'm not sure about it, but I think that is it. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We'll have a we'll have a show on that sometimes. Scratchy, the
neighbor, before you, I'm sorry. Good evening, Scratchy. Neighbor, before you go to Scratchy, could you please read my message?
Okay, all right. Okay. We just want to tell our listeners that we are scheduled to have Senator Marlon Morgan with us tomorrow at 6 p.m. So we're going to be on tomorrow for a special edition of the Hello Neighbor show on a Saturday. And we are expected to have Senator Marlon Morgan, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education.
Is that 6 p.m.
About 5 o'clock.
Or the diaspora time?
5 o'clock.
We start at 5. We start
Yes.
at 5, but he will be with us at 6 for 1 hour.
Jamaica time?
Yes,
Jamaica.
Scratchy. It will be. So we will go live at 5 p.m. tomorrow evening.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Scratchy, Morgan today came out to say that the government would have spent $67 billion already on the hurricane relief effort, Scratchy. And there is an argument in Jamaica about the $1.4 billion that was donated by Jamaicans. Now, Scratchy, if a government is able to spend $67 billion on hurricane relief for its citizens, Scratchy, then anyone who criticized that government, you should have given them a visa when they left Jamaica, man. And I say that jokingly, but seriously, Scratchy, how could we be criticizing a government that is able to spend $67 billion on hurricane relief to help people, Scratchy, and we are making up noise about $1.4 billion that was donated to the government, and the government said it has earmarked that money to do specific project. Why is it that we don't give credit where credit is due, Scratchy? What's wrong with us here in Jamaica?
It's not really what's wrong with us, neighbor. It's what's wrong with neighbor, with a specific neighbor, demographic group neighbor of our population neighbor that support the People's National Party. And I always tell neighbor that Mark Golden is someone neighbor, who's the leader of the PNP neighbor, who likes to come to Parliament and talk about his 400,000 supporters who voted for him neighbor. And I think neighbor, every single day, it is more safer and safer, it is more easier neighbor for us to assess and realize that it is this core group neighbor, this 400,000 that Mark Jefferson Golden likes to talk about neighbor. This is a problem group with Jamaica neighbor. This is a set of Jamaicans neighbor who are trying to create some form of mischief, who is spreading the misinformation and the disinformation neighbor. The government neighbor has a responsibility neighbor, and the government responsibility is to act on all of us behalf neighbor in the recovery of Hurricane Melissa. Now, the $1.4 billion that was donated neighbor was funds neighbor that the government asked persons to donate to and help. So what the government is really doing neighbor, the government is using its funds neighbor.
I'm 66 and I have
to carry out a lot of what is going on neighbor.
Correct.
And
in other words, the government is not looking for donation to help its people.
exactly neighbor. So the donation money neighbor, the government don't want donation money to do certain things neighbor. There are certain things that the donation money the government don't want to get that.
Nor is it sufficient, nor could it go very far.
Is it sufficient to do certain things neighbor? So the government is keeping that money, and I want Jamaicans to look at it from this year. Sometimes you look at the glass half empty or half full. Neighbor, the government neighbor, in its recovery for Hurricane Melissa, is so well run neighbor that I'm gonna say that there's a whack of cash neighbor, but there's a balance neighbor, there's a good amount of money in the system neighbor, where we don't have to look at that one.
Not to mention that there is $6.7 billion United States dollars earmarked through NaRRA.
Exactly neighbor, so there's so many cash neighbor at the government disposal neighbor. The government don't have to look at that $1.4 billion. Now I said it last night neighbor. The $1.4 billion, it had to be earmarked neighbor for us to do something. The government to the cabinet decided, okay, we're going to buy building material to repair roof with this $1.4 billion. Now after the government spent about $24 billion out of that $1.4 billion neighbor, here comes neighbor Good Samaritan, who donated $400 million in building supplies to the government neighbor. Now, when the government got that $400 million in building society neighbor, it makes sense. It makes sense neighbor for the government not to go now with that $1.8 billion that is left and go buy more building materials neighbor. We have storage shortages in Jamaica. We don't have places to store these things, we have store material, we have distribution issues. So the government neighbor is using neighbor what is going on to distribute to distribute the $400 million worth of goods first, neighbor. Then the government can see where it's at, because it is even possible, neighbor, where the government might come back and say, okay, based on what happened with this $400 million worth of building materials that we have, it is safe to say that we might don't need any more building materials. So let's see how best we can earmark these funds now, this donor funds, to do something else. Yeah, but I think Jamaicans, not just any Jamaicans who support the PNP, neighbor, are too quick, neighbor, to jump and try to blame, neighbor. You know Jamaica and I know Jamaica, neighbor. One time this argument would be a different argument. You wouldn't hear say the money never spent, you say the money get thief.
That's right.
You say the neighbor, gone are the days, neighbor, would I hear say the money gets stolen, where I hear say the money is misappropriated, but would I hear say the money cannot be found. We don't know where the money is now, neighbor. The money is there. The only problem they are saying is that the money is not being spent in a time that is suited to them. But the greatest thing, neighbor, the money is there and the money is accounted for, and that is a big plus going forward in Jamaica, because that's not something that we used to. We don't used to hear say the money is there. You see hearing that the money is misappropriated. We used to hear say the money got stolen. Those are things that we are used to. We used to hear say nepotism and cronyism get the whole of the money. The money is accounted for and the money is there. And with that money, neighbor, a person have to understand again, with this donation money, neighbor, compared to government money that is budgeted for, neighbor, government money of a time span on it, neighbor. Funds that is budgeted through the government, it has a time span. It must be spent within a certain period of time. This money is 1.4 billion, neighbor. No exact time span is not on this money when this money can be spent, because this money is not a part of the consolidated fund. The consolidated fund is like the government checking account. This money is not a part of it. It's a total different money. So the greatest thing, neighbor, the money is there, and we should all be proud and happy to know that the money is there. Because I can tell you, if it was one time under such man government, you would have heard say the money gone, and the money is there. So we don't have nothing to worry about, neighbor. The funds is there. And I want a person to understand the next thing I say, neighbor. And I tell the PNP supporters, neighbor. Because if you should say to them, neighbor, the government now spend the money. If you should say to them, okay, 1.8% of whatever I spend, how much is that? Then can't tell the neighbor. They are going to tell us that 1.8% is 1.8 million. And 1.8% neighbor is over 23 million Jamaican dollars. No, neighbor, you sitting in your chair where you are right now. And imagine $23 million in zinc, in a plywood, and in a lab.
Enough material that.
Enough material that, neighbor. Enough material that, $23 million in material, neighbor. That can't fix one or two man roof. Enough material that.
Yes.
So the PNP never don't stop them foolishness, neighbor, and stop what I think is that being done. This government, neighbor, is prudent in its spending.
Yeah.
This government is financially responsible, neighbor, and this government is not going to make a system come, neighbor, where Hurricane Melissa, where we spend all the money, neighbor, and when we don't spend, we have more plywood and we have more zinc left over than anything else. We spend where we never need it. The government is physically prudent, neighbor. This government is financially stable, and the PNP is the opposition, neighbor, and we are not going to let them distract us, neighbor. We elected this government 7 months ago. We gave them a mandate, neighbor, to act on our behalf, neighbor, and we must stand with them and give them the faith and stand with them and know that they have our best interest at heart, and they are not playing games. And every single Jamaican should look at the Auditor General report and say, gone are the days but whether you say the money misappropriated or the money get thief or the money cannot be located, and we have the money right there. So I'm good. I'm good as long as the funds is there.
And you know, Scratchy, long before the government collected $1 from a donor, it had insured its people against a natural disaster. You don't hear people commending the government for that, eh?
Definitely not, neighbor. You don't hear people commending the government, neighbor, for what the government is doing, neighbor. Instead, we hear persons coming out and just throwing all type of attacks. It's just attack, neighbor.
Yeah.
Trying to make everything look good. Neighbor, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this recovery process, neighbor, the government is going to get everything done in the way or we would like it to be done, neighbor.
Yes.
But we have to understand, neighbor, that the government is doing its best. And so far, neighbor, there is no misappropriation of funds. And that is what Jamaica is used to. That is what our political system was used to, neighbor. And we should give this government, neighbor, some form of respect and honor to know that the funds is there. And once the funds is there, neighbor, it will be spent in a way, neighbor, that is in the best interest of the people who need that funding.
Yeah. And what is
the PNP.
And what is of moment here, Scratchy, is that so far, no report has come out of government suggesting that there has been malfeasance, nepotism, or any act of corruption, despite the fact that the government is handling large sums of money and a large number of resources. That, Scratchy, should be something that we commend the government for too. They have been a very responsible and a government that is prudent and full of character.
Neighbor, when Hurricane Melissa struck, neighbor, and a lot of persons were saying that even the opposition neighbor was pushing for 50 million here, was pushing for this to be done, neighbor, fast, was pushing for that to be done. Neighbor, the Prime Minister and Jamaica Wellness, neighbor, said that yes, we want things to be done fast, we want things to be done quick, but the same persons who are calling for this to be done fast and this to be done quick, neighbor, come 6 months' time, when time there's certain level, neighbor, spending, neighbor, that didn't go through the proper procedure and the proper procurement, neighbor, these same people is going to come and call for the head of the government. Because the People's National Party is the biggest hypocrite in Jamaica, neighbor. They are trying to put the government in a position where the government fast-track its spending, where the government bypass certain protocols, neighbor, and then it's them same one now when the Auditor General report come out, he's going to come and bash the government and say the government did this, the government did that. No, look at the case in point. Look at the Starlink. Neighbor, the procurement of the Starlink had to be done, neighbor, in a fast manner and an emergency process, neighbor. These same PNP member of parliament, neighbor, all of them got a Starlink. And despite all of them got a Starlink, neighbor, when the Auditor General report came out, and the report came out on the Starlink, neighbor, it's these same people who got the Starlink, them, neighbor, was bashing the government, saying the government didn't follow certain guidelines, and the government didn't do this, and the government didn't do that, but they all got a Starlink during the time, neighbor, so that they could have some form of internet service, neighbor. The PNP is the biggest hypocrite in Jamaica, neighbor, and they are trying to set up the government, but they can't set up this government, neighbor. Andrew Wallace knows exactly what he's doing, neighbor, and Andrew Wallace is not moving at the pace of the PNP, neighbor. Andrew Wallace is not moving at the direction of the PNP, neighbor. Andrew Wallace, neighbor, is moving in the best interest, neighbor, that suit Jamaica, that suit our integrity, and suit all our credibility agencies, our integrity agencies, neighbor. The Prime Minister has a job, neighbor, and the Prime Minister know that come 2030, neighbor, this is what the PNP want to use against him. Because Jamaica have a tendency, neighbor, that wherever there's a lot of cash, neighbor, there's always misappropriation of funds, there's always some malfeasance when it comes to funds, neighbor. It is the first, as I said, in the history of Jamaica, so many money is being spent, neighbor. And all of these groups, the Integrity Commission, Auditor General, the PAAC, all of them, neighbor, all of them are search and a search and a search, neighbor. Them can't find nothing and say that this government has misappropriated $1 so far. And that is something that we should respect and praise this government for, neighbor, because that is not something that we are used to.
Let me ask you a question. Are you not concerned that the quote unquote intelligentsia, the civil society groups, those persons who have had the benefit of education, have been very, very disappointing in helping the society to understand the nuances of our time and to provide clarity on these issues? Because quite frankly, Harry, Scratchy, when you look at what is happening with a government who had a catastrophe bond, who has resources to build back Jamaica to the tune of $6.7 billion US, and has already spent $67 billion out of its own resources to help Jamaicans. Scratchy, isn't it disappointing that media, civil society, the church, we're not hearing people coming out to say, hey guys, step back. There's nothing here to be alarmed about.
Neighbor, I'm a Jamaican, neighbor. I don't reach 40 years old as yet, neighbor. I have been watching the Jamaica political landscape, is, neighbor. I've been watching a lot of things in Jamaica for a very long time, neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
I am someone who's fully aware of a lot of things in Jamaica, neighbor. And I'm going to say this, neighbor, and I don't mean to ruffle any feathers, and I don't mean every single one, neighbor. But after looking more at Jamaica neighbor, and look at the fall of Jamaica neighbor, look at the destruction of Jamaica, when I look at where Jamaica is neighbor, I can safely say neighbor that the same bright people that you just mentioned neighbor, the bright people, these are the people who are the problem in Jamaica neighbor.
Oh my God.
Neighbor, the so-called bright people in Jamaica neighbor, they are the problem in Jamaica neighbor. These bright people are the most selfish people neighbor you can ever see in your lifetime neighbor. They consider themselves to be bright neighbor, but they are so selfish neighbor that all they can see neighbor is just what serve their best and personal interest only. They don't stand for the best interest of Jamaica neighbor. I can tell you that neighbor. I don't care what certain people want to do.
Am I not correct? Am I not correct, Scratchy, that the argument the PNP is putting forward tonight is a non-argument, Scratchy. It's a non-argument. To talk about $1.4 million not spent when a government has spent $67 billion is a non-argument, Scratchy. And more voices are needed to tell Jamaican that's a non-argument. Hold on there for me here, Scratchy, because I think you'll like this too.
Equal rights and justice is our everlasting song. Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your rights when you hear the bell. Stand up for justice. Hear the freedom bell. Remember the best of
man serve you well. Stand up, Jamaicans, when you hear the bell.
Jesus, my God.
Oh, God. It's a neighbor, right?
No, sir.
equal rights and justice is our everlasting song. Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your rights when you hear the bell. Stand up for justice, hear the freedom bell. Remember us, the mandate, we serve you well. Stand up, Jamaicans, when you hear the bell.
Jesus Christ, man. Well, listen to me. That's what I said next. You have to be a liberal. We have to be a liberal. Look here. That people are not be a liberal. Jesus Christ, man. Well, listen to me. That's what I
everlasting song.
Well, I tell you something. This is a fantastic night. I need a kerchief. I need a rag. No.
Oh, God.
no, but seriously, Scratchy. The argument is a most disingenuous argument coming from the opposition. And I think the people of Jamaica need to dash it back in their face and say to them, move away from here, so. Because I can't see how you can criticize a government that collects $1.4 billion but has spent $67 billion. It is a non-argument.
Pennywise and pound fool, neighbor. What? Pennywise and pound fool. PNP neighbor, Pennywise
I mean, Scratch, the government was able to lend JPS $25 billion, you know, Scratchy, to put back.
Exactly.
That the money where the government will get back, you know. The government have that money to get back, you know.
Over 5 years.
Over 5. Scratchy.
And still managed to spend $67 billion so far.
Yes, Scratchy.
Yeah, but when you talk about civil society, neighbor, nothing about that society is civil, neighbor. Nothing about those guys are civil, neighbor. These guys only serve their own personal interest, neighbor.
But the country need voices, Scratchy, to come out and explain.
I always tell that, neighbor. If me alone, neighbor, you and Caroline and all of us, neighbor, will come up and continuously speak, neighbor, that is why it is not going anywhere or reaching certain place, neighbor. Because persons are going to say, Scratchy a labor right, Scratchy is going to defend and Jonas and the Labour Party. But what about the persons in our society who can't do like to boast about their civil and
pastors,
neighbor.
Yes.
So many pastors in our country, neighbor. Where as a pastor, you're supposed to be the person who can call out truth and lies and separate truth and lies, facts and fiction, and come and say, all right, guys, this is the fact. The government has spent $67. If you do that, don't mean you're a PNP, neighbor. That don't mean you're a labor right, you know.
But of course, I mean, you know that, Scratchy, and you know my own views and struggle with that. You know, son. But the very safeguards, Scratchy, now being criticized, are the same safeguards Jamaicans would demand if funds were misused, stolen, rushed, or improperly distributed through corruption and patronage. The government has been prudent.
Financially prudent, neighbor, and the government is financially strong. Because you made mention of something, neighbor, that fly over a lot of persons' head. Still managed to lend JPS $25 billion, neighbor. Still managed to spend $67 billion, neighbors. Still managed to have a large amount of funds, neighbor, to dispose of, neighbor, to do the massive reconstruction projects, neighbor. Still manage, neighbor, to still stay balanced and keep a balanced budget or a budget to a certain level, neighbor.
And keep inflation under check in Jamaica.
And still manage to have inflation at a certain level, neighbor.
Tell me.
You tell me, neighbor, that ground position of a coronation market cheap as stone dog.
$100 for sweet potato down there. $100 for sweet potato coronation market. $100 for Irish potato. Scallion their coronation. $80 a pound for scallion, son. You understand me? So when you talk about the management, it's not only about providing relief, you know, Scratchy. It's about how the government has managed the economy. And even before the first zinc blow off of the people their roof, the government ensure the country against the natural disaster. They deserve.
One of the biggest thing that I see them keep bypassing, neighbor, the government put in a catastrophe bond to insure this country, neighbor, from a natural disaster where we pulled down $24 billion, neighbor. Never before in the history of Jamaica, neighbor, and people want to talk about $1.4 billion.
Yes. That is earmarked.
$1.4 billion is earmarked to buy roofing material, and the money is there, and you come talk about the government not spending the money.
In other words, that money never prevent the government from taking care of its people. From day one, the government is out there spending before $1 was donated.
I can tell you, neighbor, that this government is smart and know what it is doing, neighbor. The government know how a lot of Jamaicans think against them, neighbor. So you see, especially this money that was donated, neighbor, the government is make sure, neighbor, that money is spent to the T and everything can be accounted for, neighbor. That government not going to run any farmer joke with that money, neighbor. That is why the government is making sure, neighbor, that whatever spend, that $1.4 billion spend on, is something, neighbor, that have an impact and something that can be accounted for in the most easiest possible way, neighbor. Because the government know that is person's donation, and the government don't plan to play any joke or run any joke with that money. Neighbor, we are in safe hands, neighbor. Jamaica is in a safe hands, neighbor. As long as Aunt Michael Wallace is the head, neighbor, we are in safe hands. We don't need to worry about nothing. We are safe. Like Nova Scotia, neighbor, Jamaicans are safe with us.
Yeah. I think that as I said to you, we are living in a country that is largely hypocritical, Scratchy, and people are afraid to come out and speak the truth. And when you come out and speak the truth, people label you. But I don't care about any labels anymore at all, Scratchy. Cecile, are you there? Hello, Cecile. Good night. Cecile? No, we don't have that caller. We have Scratchy here with us still, and moderator, we could take two more. Sasa, hey, hello, Sasa, hello, Golden Child. No. All right. We got the result from our online poll tonight. Do you think NaRRA can transform Jamaica? Yeah. 151 persons voted in our poll tonight. Question: do you think NaRRA can transform Jamaica? 92% said yes. 92% said yes. 6% said no. And 2% unsure. Our poll result tonight online: do you think NaRRA can transform Jamaica? 151 persons voted. 92% said yes. 6% said no. And 2% unsure. I see what is happening there. Scratchy, I think we prepare to have a conversation with the senator tomorrow. A lot to talk about in Scratch.
Definitely, Mr. Neighbor. Before I go to that, there's someone in the comment section that said the government did not loan JPS 25 billion, it's 150 million. Go and do the maths. 150 million US dollars the government loan JPS. Go do the maths, miss. Sometimes you guys must think before you write things and rush to come and comment, because you're trying to correct us, telling us that the government did not lend JPS 25 billion dollars. Go and do the maths. 150 million US dollars converted to Jamaican dollars. Go do the maths and find out how much is that, miss. This is politics plus. We don't spread facts over. We don't spread misinformation over here. Straight facts we deal with over here, miss. So go do the maths and come back. So yes, neighbor, we're supposed to expect the senator tomorrow, neighbor. We expect a very good discussion, neighbor. A very respectful discussion tomorrow, neighbor, with the senator, neighbor. And we hope, neighbor, that I know, neighbor, I have my full faith in you, neighbor. I know that you will definitely come with the questions, neighbor, that Jamaicans want to see answers for, neighbor. And I know your style, neighbor, of how you go down the wicked, neighbor. You know, you may approach the senator, neighbor, first with a few little small aspin, you know. and then going down, I'm expecting some yakals and some bouncers, you know, in the further end, in the last end, neighbor. But I mean, as I often said, neighbor, that these persons are government members, neighbor.
Yes.
These persons are persons who have the first-hand information, neighbor. And if I was there, I don't think there's no question, neighbor. I'm not one neighbor who bash journalists who ask certain questions, neighbor, of any political representative, neighbor, because as a political representative, neighbor, you're supposed to make sure that you're equipped with information, neighbor.
Absolutely.
To come and answer whatever question is asked of you. So, I mean, we don't know, Mr. Morgan, it's friendly territory. We won't disrespect Mr. Morgan in no way, shape, or form. I mean, we know the type of person Mr. Morgan is, neighbor, is someone who I want to make a point to the neighbor that a lot of persons, neighbor, are bashing Mr. Morgan since the other day, neighbor.
Yes.
But I want persons to also remember that during the last election campaign, if persons can remember, it was Mr. Morgan, neighbor, to a press conference that was held, neighbor, that kind of gave the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, the first momentum, neighbor, that it gained, neighbor, in that political campaign, neighbor, for the election. Remember that press conference that was held?
Yes.
When Mr. Morgan was very outspoken, neighbor, Mr. Morgan was very strong. And he was the one, neighbor, who kind of gave us that momentum, neighbor, in that first press conference. So I want us to understand that Mr. Morgan, someone who was playing a big role, neighbor, in the Jamaica Labour Party victory as well. He was very at the front line. He was speaking a lot, you know. So I just want to say big up to Robert Marvin. And just hope that you come tomorrow.
Neighbor.
I'm going to be here tomorrow, sir. I mean, this is Politics Plus. We have been asking and requesting you a very long time. This is a program that is here, doing our own part for the advancement of the Jamaica Labour Party and the government by extension. And sir, we definitely will respect your appearance here tomorrow, sir. Now, we appreciate the fact that you take the time out of your busy schedule to say that you would be here with us tomorrow. And our loyal supporters will be here very early and ready to hear from you, Mr. Morgan. And I can definitely tell you, Mr. Morgan, that tomorrow, your social media pages will be a buzz. You will gain a lot more followers after tomorrow, because you are not these neighbor rights. Even though they brand themselves as neighbor rights, I must tell you that they are also labor rights. You know? So they will definitely love your presence tomorrow, Mr. Morgan. So just come through and come let us have a nice discussion, Mr. Morgan, a respectful one going forward. And for the advancement of Jamaica and the good of Jamaica.
Fantastic. Well, that's great, and we hope that all our listeners will join us for that. Well, Shafreen.
Yes, neighbor.
I want to say hi to all my friends over there on YouTube. How they're doing? How are they doing?
Everyone is doing well, engaging in the chat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Throw up some green heart, everybody, in the chat.
Okay, that's
show your
great.
support.
Yes. All right. So you wanna just tell them to come over to TikTok, because we're gonna keep a little party for 10 minutes here.
Oh, you want to go keep a party? Okay, all right.
Yes.
All right. So you wanna party tonight? It's Friday night.
No. I'm going to sign off in another 10 or so minutes, but
Okay.
So tell my TikTokers to log on over here.
To come to YouTube?
Come to TikTok.
To TikTok?
TikTok, yes.
I thought we were doing the opposite, neighbor.
No.
Bringing them to the green side.
Oh.
All right.
Yes.
So is it a party that you want to do, neighbor? 10 minutes of partying?
Well, watch this.
No.
I told you. Take care, you too.
All right. So
Later.
neighbor seems like he wants to party. I don't know if you've ever seen neighbor dancing before, but it's a sight to behold.
Oh my God.
Yes, I've seen you dancing with, after the live when you're having your party on TikTok.
Oh
so
my God.
Neighbor likes to have his music and his party on TikTok. So come over to the Hello Neighbor show on TikTok and party with us for 10 minutes.
All right, great. Great. All right, good.
And also, I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we're having a live, and we'll be having special guest Senator Marlon Morgan to come and speak about everything NaRRA. And if you have any questions, there's a post that's on our page. You can put your questions in the post, under the post, and we'll look at it and see if it's something that we haven't put together yet. Then we could look at asking him those questions.
All right.
Not yet, neighbor. Not yet.
Yes.
Yes. Not yet. Wait until after the live ends.
Okay, great. All right. It's a great week. Great week for the Politics Plus team here. And listeners, just know that we love and appreciate you very, very much. Please remember that our Zelle account is 954-635-8732. 954-635-8732. Continue to support us while we bring you quality programming. The best is yet to come. All right, Jeffrey.
All right, neighbor. Have a good night, everyone. See you on TikTok.
Take care. All right.